You damn right. Hope everybody's having a good Friday. Headed into a weekend. Still hot out there. Whew, it's going to be another one next week, too, with 105s and 106s in and around the Austin area and probably all over the state of Texas. We hope you're trying to stay cool, trying to stay dry today. We got a lot to get into. NBA draft last night. Some big recruiting stuff going on this weekend for Texas, and I'm sure a lot of other teams. June has become a big, big month for that. In the NFL, we'll hit another Mount Rushmore. We're going to a green mountain today. But maybe most importantly, we've got a Hall of Fame lean going on this show. It's Chad and Zay on this Friday. I am Chad Hastings. He is the man who is going to be on his honeymoon next week. He is the man who's going to be leaning this entire Friday show. He is the man who's literally wearing his vacation hat as we speak. He is Isaiah Collier. What's up, Zay?
What's cracking, Chad? Happy Friday, everybody. And yeah, I'm leaning.
Man.
Leaning like the Houston drink.
I really hope that people get a chance to see the YouTube version of the show today at some point. Peek in on YouTube or Twitch on the cameras, because Zay, who normally rocks the neck pillow for the entire show, it's part of his comfort. It's part of his thing. Now you're going neck pillow and hat. So is this basically you on the plane?
Interestingly enough, I probably won't be rocking the neck pillow on the plane.
See, that's what I figured. I was thinking that today. Like, wait a minute. Let me guess. Zay will be the guy who doesn't wear it on an airplane, where everybody else does. But you wear it here.
Yeah.
And nobody else does.
Yeah, the hat makes the plane.
Hat's going on the plane.
Hat's going on the plane.
Yeah.
Sad.
When you commit to a hat like that, you have to figure out how to get it on the plane effectively and efficiently and get it off the plane, because there's no way you can pack that.
Yeah.
You're going to crush it.
Right. Like if it stays in Mexico, I'm good with that. You know?
Oh, you may even leave it?
Oh, yeah.
Now, how much did the hat run you?
Oh, not that much.
Okay.
Probably around $20.
Okay.
You know,
All right.
Nothing crazy.
That's a borderline for me right there. Yeah, that's right at the borderline. You go more than that. If you just said 30, I'd have said you need to bring the hat back.
I mean,
a 20 spot, maybe.
Yeah, it's a little steep, but
it's a good hat for $20.
True, but
I'm liking that.
My job's inside. I won't be using the hat much longer, at least not the rest of the year. It is a smooth hat, but yeah, I'm good just leaving it there. Me and my wife, we plan on having a great time.
As an old man who appreciates a good wide-brimmed hat, if you could get it back here, I'd wear it. I mean, yeah.
Oh, we'll see what we can do.
See.
I mean, I plan on purchasing things that we could take back here.
Oh,
so,
there you go. There you go. So Zay's going to be on vacation next week. Now, just so you know, Zay, we are going to be talking NBA draft, and I looked over your shoulder at some of your prep, and I'm a little concerned about Lakers made a good choice with Eldon Campbell. I mean, that's come on, man.
Damn, Eldon Campbell, what a name.
We really need to figure out, I think Vladdy's going to be a good fit. I mean, it's tough. We'll get into some NBA draft. We're also going to talk some football. We are closing in on football season ever so slowly, day by day. And we're going to get into another Mount Rushmore discussion coming up.
Talk about leaning. My Mount list? Oh, man.
You just put Joe Namath 4 times.
I mean, you'll see.
Yeah, okay.
You'll see. Wow.
We will get there. And if you like, maybe now, Zay, would you take advice from the people who have been to Cancun?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay. So Zay and his wife are celebrating their marriage. They are going on the official honeymoon, and it is Cancun. So if you've been to Cancun, have I ever been to Cancun? I don't think so. On cruises, I have done little stops in Grand Cayman and Cozumel, but I don't believe I've ever
been to Cozumel too.
I don't believe I've ever been to Cancun, so I can't help you.
Okay.
So other than, I would tell you to drink, but I know you're not a drinker.
Yeah.
So that's just something for you to know as well. Zay is not an alcohol guy. So in Cancun, is your wife alcohol?
Oh, yeah, she'll drink.
Okay. So the wife is interested in the drinks. Zay is not. Let them know what they need to do in Cancun. So it is Friday. Next week is going to be a wild one here on the station because we've got 4 leaners today. Bucky was leaning because he's out next week. Craig Way was just doing the super. Craig Way's lean is bigger than anybody else's because he has to take his time off right now.
Yeah.
He works 15 months a year.
Oh, it's nuts.
And so
15 months.
So now he takes like about 2 weeks off and gets to, just recharge the battery and everything. So Craig was definitely leaning, but we understand that. Wished him well and hope he gets a good, safe trip going for his vacation. Zay is leaning, and then later on, our man Harge is going to be leaning.
Oh, that's going to be a huge lean.
Yes, and officially to the four of you that chose next week as as a week of vacation, bravo, because then the bosses were nice enough to say Monday the 3rd and Tuesday the 4th are off. So y'all all just got 7 straight shows off. Well done.
Yeah, pretty legit.
Well done.
Pretty legit. I wasn't thinking about that when we made this trip almost a year ago, but now, yeah, it's coming back in a beautiful way.
I don't know what everybody else calls that. I call that playing the Kevin Dunn, because Kevin Dunn was always great at it. Kevin Dunn could figure out a way to orchestrate around Memorial Day or the 4th of July. He did it brilliantly. Bucky's been really good at that as well.
Oh, yeah, Bucky's the GOAT at it.
Bucky's the expert. If you guys need to know everybody that's on vacation, be sure you're tuning in about 2 weeks, because Bucky will be keeping you updated on all of it. I have never known anyone that has more FOMO about other people's vacations than Bucky Godbolt.
Oh, yeah.
He stays updated on all of it. And when you ask him about his vacation, he goes Patrick Ewing from the 80s when Patrick Ewing said, well, I spend a lot because we make a lot. Something like that, right? Bucky's like, I take the vacation because I get the vacation. What are you talking about?
Right. Hey, man.
Which is
one
great.
Of the greatest.
That's right.
He deserves it.
Hey, you got to recharge. You got to recharge. All you guys deserve that, and that'll be next week. So I'll get one more possible show out of Zay today. We'll see how focused he is, because he's going to be thinking of Cancun.
I'm locked in. This is like Game 7 for me.
All the answers might be Cancun today. Hey,
man.
Zay, what'd you think of the Mavericks draft? Mai Tais? What? Sand beaches. So we will roll through this NBA draft. Obviously, a lot of big stories that nobody knew about, but it started with the story everybody knew about, and Victor Wembanyama. Zay, I'll start with this comment. I am a Mavericks fan through and through. I always have been, and I always will be. I hate how much I love this guy.
Right?
I hate how much I love everything he says. Everything he talks about, I end up smiling or laughing or both. I'm drawn towards the screen every single time. If you're a Spurs fan today, I would just tell you to soak every bit of this up. He feels like a 7'5" French, like Tim Duncan sophomore year at Wake.
Yo, man.
That's what he feels like to me.
The dude said when he was asked, which I retweeted this and said, put him in the Hall of Fame right now for this statement. They asked him, what are you most excited about when you get to San Antonio? And he said, breakfast tacos.
Right.
He said, I've heard so much about breakfast tacos.
I've heard people talk about breakfast tacos.
Come on, man.
That's brilliant.
They're genius. He's genius. At 19 years old, I've been talking about it all week, just seeing him, how he carries himself in press conferences. And, nothing's too overwhelming for him right now. You would think somebody being 7'5", they talk about a lot of 7-footers sometimes being shy because all eyes are on them. Everybody's looking at them. So it could be very awkward. And some of them can't handle that. Yeah. And it's rare to have the Shaquille O'Neals of the world and, the Joel Embiids, guys like that. But if you look at Kareem, he didn't like that attention. He couldn't stand that type of thing. And, David Robinson, even though he was great with the media, he'd rather not be a center of attention. Tim Duncan, kind of the same way. And Victor Wembanyama, he doesn't seem like that at all. He seems like he'll be all over TV. He'll be getting shoe deals and stuff like that. Like
HEB commercials.
Yeah, those HEB commercials are going to be crazy.
They're already half written, I'm sure.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, the French stuff at HEB that we're going to start seeing, it's going to be crazy. I can't wait. I'm going to be trying all types of stuff I never had before. But, yeah, man, the Spurs, they got their man, and I love that he's excited about playing in Summer League, because a lot of the time when you're a number 1 pick, you ain't got to play Summer League. Like, that's just, God forbid, you don't want to put yourself in a Chet Holmgren situation where we ain't even see Chet Holmgren this last year because he was playing so much Summer League ball, playing in those Pro-Am leagues and stuff, which you can't hate on him because that just shows he loves the game. Like, how else would you work on your game? You need to play 5-on-5, so why not play it in front of a big crowd? I don't know the difference between playing it in front of a big crowd in those pro-am leagues than just playing 5-on-5 pickup when no one's watching. There's no difference. You could get hurt the same way. It was just unfortunate that he did, but I compare that because both of those guys, Wembanyama and Chet Holmgren, are both really long, 7-foot, lanky guys.
Yeah.
And again, just the injury aspect, it has to come in your mind. You think about Yao Ming, you think about Sean Bradley, just somebody that big being able to last like over a decade is very rare. Even Ralph Sampson, as good as he was, the Hall of Famer, he had his troubles. I know he got that two-piece Popeyes combo in the 86 finals against the Celtics, which changed the whole series and probably his whole career, but still, like, he dealt with those same injuries. So I love that Victor Wembanyama, he's all about his nutrition. He's all about his work ethic off the court so he could prevent those injuries because he knows and he sees, look what's happened to big men over the course of their career. I don't want to be like that. Have you seen those workouts that he does where he's like crab walking?
I haven't seen it yet. I've heard him talk about it, but I haven't actually seen him.
He's like on his tippy toes doing ballet type stuff. It's nuts. It's something I've never seen before, especially with somebody of his stature. He's so fluent with his movements. He moves like Kevin Durant. And I know people say, well, how does he dribble? You're that tall. Like how, that ball just has so far to travel. He's going to have a hard time getting the ball up the court. He gets low on this dribble. That's one of the greatest things about Kevin Durant that people don't talk about. KD has always got the ball so low and got his body so low where somebody 7 foot, that's unnatural. Like he gets lower than Jason Kidd when he played, and Jason Kidd was a 6'4" guard, but he was real upright. And he was kind of awkward when he pushed it. He was straight up. While KD, again, Victor Wembanyama has a lot of that in him. So, yeah, the worst thing I've seen of Victor Wembanyama is that Oprah Winfrey 1995 pantsuit that he wore yesterday. That's about it. But,
hey, the French are always in a different place when it comes to fashion.
They are, right?
Like, he had the necklace. By the way, did you hear him describe the necklace?
No, I didn't see that.
Oh, my God. Spurs fans, check this out. He's describing the necklace. Yes, it is a jewel that he says – it's a jewel. I'm not going to do the whole French thing the whole time, but like it's a jewel where it's not the most expensive thing, but it reflects the light really well. I'm not really about expensive things. I'm not about wearing something just because it's expensive, but I like it. It looks kind of like a galaxy, and I'm really into space, and I'm really into and it's just all this depth to the answer. And I thought, oh my God,
right?
It's just perfect. Like when Billis asked him last night about bulking up. His answer was so well thought out. I don't really think of it as bulking up, but I am unique, so we have unique workouts. Back to what you're talking about. And that old phrase about being comfortable in your own skin, it's really easy to say, wouldn't it be great to be 7'5" and everybody looks at you and whatever? Well, a lot of those guys can't deal with it.
They can't.
But you're right. It appears like Victor is very comfortable with all of it. He's been the tallest kid for a long, 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 long time, but he's also got a good personality to go along with it. Everything feels comfortable with him.
Yeah. I mean, these European guys, they're taking over the league. Giannis, he got a ring. Nikola Jokic, he got a ring. Luka has been all-pro, first team, like 4 years. I want to say he's been in the league 5. It's absolutely insane with these European guys and just how NBA ready they are with the media, just how articulate he is. Like, this ain't his first language, English. It ain't, but he's out there talking his best, and you could definitely understand him. Like, there ain't no language barrier, which makes it a lot easier for him to be the face of the league in a few years. So if you look at the Spurs roster with Vassell and Keldon Johnson and Jeremy Sohan, that's a really good young core that could build around Victor Wembanyama, and this makes Pop a lot younger, you know what I'm saying? Pop, he's been coaching Spurs so long, and everybody's been wondering, how many years does he have left? With a guy like this, you got at least a decade in you, depending on, how it goes.
Sure.
We've seen a lot older coach.
Did I see it right? This is his 28th year coming up.
It's bonkers.
That's incredible. Somebody texted, Victor Wembanyama's sister is a baddie. Okay. Go Spurs, go.
I didn't want to say nothing.
Brother and sister were getting some love last night.
Girl, Victor, be careful, because Drake might slide in her DMs today. That's how bad she is.
That blouse was ready for the draft.
Oh, yeah. There were some mothers and sisters, and
Dude.
I was impressed last night.
Yeah, I know we just passed Father's Day, but I really thought last night was Mother's Day in the NBA.
Yeah, I was impressed.
Well done, ladies.
Yo.
Well done. Man.
I might be wilding if I say this, but I'm about to go on vacation, so who cares? Coach Peavy at Duncanville, who got in trouble this past year with UIL, and he couldn't coach because of the whole Anthony Black situation, and he tried to, he's with Anthony Black's mom now. I get it, dog.
Oh, I didn't know
it was
that.
worth getting fined.
Oh.
It was worth getting fined, Coach Peavy. I apologize.
Okay.
It was worth the fine, dog, especially if you back this year. You might not got a chance to coach Ron Holland in his last year. They didn't get a chance to go to the state. And I know you got in trouble because the Anthony Black thing, and you with the mom now. It's legit to me. I get it.
That's funny.
Coach Peavy looked smooth last night. Former Aikens coach, now I think he's coaching Duncanville. He looked smooth last night, dapping up Anthony Black when he got chosen 6th overall by the Orlando Magic. But yeah, I Anthony Black's mama, Coach Peavy, I get it. I get it, Coach. Salute.
I know they sometimes say, some people like to say that the wedding day is when a woman looks her absolute best. She's never going to look better than that day. I think there were a lot of moms last night disagreeing with that idea. The looks on their faces, they had been made up and they were wearing dresses and they were the makeup and the hair and everything was there. I bet I saw 6, 7 of them thinking, I'm on national TV looking better than I've ever looked in my life.
Show out.
It was great, man.
Yeah.
And the dads were sitting right next to him sometimes with the arm around him like, yeah, this is my wife, everybody. That was great stuff, man.
Yeah. Now, the outfits,
Whew.
Grady Dick, when I first saw it, I was like, yo, this white boy tripping. He's wilding. It's kind of grown on me.
Okay, because he said he went with the Ruby Slipper vibe from Wizard of Oz, which is weird.
He's a Kansas guy.
He's a Kansas dude. But that was like, there's no place like home. So are you saying there's no place like Kansas? Maybe new home is Toronto, but I get it.
I'm just paying homage to his home state.
I might have set that off with something else non-sparkly up top. Everything sparkled. Like, give me like a black shirt. Or something that sets off that red a little bit.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm with you. As time went by, I thought, okay, one night, go ahead.
Yeah, it's like if Vanilla Ice and Satan were hanging out. That's what I. That's the
oh
vibe
yeah, that was kind of it.
Like he's swaggy. Like he's fly.
I'll tell you the one I want. I'll tell you the one I want to try to pull off at a party sometime is Scoot Henderson's outfit.
It. That was terrible.
Oh, come on, dude.
I knew he was gonna be tripping.
It was like somewhere between like bad Western wear and then like bad disco wear. And it was just smashed together.
And he had the grill to match all the stuff, glitter.
Oh my God.
And it was a lot.
It really was.
It was a lot. Yeah, they were on one last night.
Man, it was incredible. If you have thoughts on the NBA draft, let us know. Somebody says, I give Victor's sister a 7.5.
Oh, man.
So you're going to have that. Everybody's going to be making their comments. Also, people are giving Zay some advice on the trip to Cancun. Zay jotted down, the Grand Moon Palace is the place to stay.
I mean, we're already staying at a resort.
Already staying somewhere, but maybe check it out.
Maybe check it out, yeah.
Might have a buffet.
Well, I'm all about a buffet now.
Sadly, that's the first thing I think of when I think of resorts. I don't know why.
You should be, because I'm not worried about the calories, my weight, nothing on this trip.
There you go.
I mean, I'm not worried about that down here, but I really ain't going to be worried about it up there.
No, not at all. Not at all. If you have thoughts on Zay's honeymoon, you let us know. He is headed to Cancun next week. NBA draft. Thoughts, if you're a Spurs fan, on Wembanyama. We'll get to the Rockets and the Mavs and what they ended up with. Also coming up, let's talk some football. Our mountain of the day is green, and it's the Jets. They're on the Cowboys schedule early on. Mount Rushmore, all time. Remember, no coaches here, just players. Your all-time, your Mount Rushmore of New York Jets. We'll tell you what we came up with next on The Horn. All right, this is Chad talking Apple leasing. Trips going on all over the place. People going on vacation, people coming off vacation. Hey, if you just got back and you realize that car's beat up, that van's not quite what it used to be, that SUV's got way too many miles and you had to do, a little bit of, put too much into it before that trip, Apple Leasing is the answer. They can get you in that newer car, truck, SUV, whatever it is, to make sure your next vacation is in that newer car and you won't have to worry about anything, give you that peace of mind. Or you could just be in my situation where you needed to upgrade and it was time for that new car. 346-9977 is what you do. Just pick up the phone, call 346-9977. I ended up talking to Beth. You could talk to Beth, or you may talk to one of their other experts that'll walk you through the leasing process. What's it all about? How does it work? How long are the leasing terms? What does it mean? What about mileage? What if you're like me and you put a whole lot of miles on the car? They are going to go through all that. It's the easiest and safest way to get a new car. I was really pleased with the process, and you will be as well. They'll get you all the rebates, the sales, the discounts, the incentives that the dealers do, but they'll keep the hassle for themselves. You will sign everything electronically, and they'll deliver right to your driveway if that's what you need them to do. Call 346-9977 or go to appleleasing.com.
Chad and Zay.
Always got to wait on that one. You hear that start, it's one of two things. If you listen for Stevie, it's Stevie Nicks. If you hear Beyonce and the ladies,
oh, wow.
it's Bootylicious.
Yeah.
Isn't that what that song was called?
Absolutely.
Right.
Yeah.
That's the sample. And a great usage of that sample. It's a great little riff that never goes away, just a simple little thing, but it makes the whole song in a way. Stevie Nicks getting us started today. Great show. Hopefully, cross fingers. I got tickets to see Stevie and Billy Joel, but it's not until next March because somebody got sick this year.
Oh.
What the hell's going on?
Yeah, I know.
Leftover weird COVID stuff. Come on now. I don't even know if it was COVID. I can't remember what they said it was. Maybe it was. Something in Stevie's band, I think. Hope everybody's all right there. Speaking of all right, let's give another shout out to Deion Sanders. I saw an update on this surgery today. They do not believe there's nothing about amputation in this surgery.
Woo.
There was a discussion that maybe Deion's going to have a foot amputated if things continue to get worse. But the good news maybe today, Zay, is they're going after a blood clot in his groin. Now, that sounds terrible, right, on its face. But if we could all understand how a blood clot in that area, if it is keeping blood from flowing to that foot and they can fix that, today could be a massive day for Deion.
Yeah, and Deion's had a lot of health troubles as of late. And when you're a head football coach of a Power 5 program, we've talked about it, Chad, a lot of stress comes with that.
Sure.
And at the end of the day, yes, obviously Deion Sanders loves football, but your health's way more important. And if I'm Colorado, I'm a little bit concerned because what they're trying to accomplish, can Deion Sanders handle that? You know what I'm saying? Like he's he's really struggling right now, and he's not able to recruit. He's not able to be with his team right now. So he's losing a lot of time, which he should be. He should focus on his health first. But if this continues to happen, man, he might have to make a decision if he wants to continue to be a coach or not.
Yeah, big day for him today. Hopefully this will allow him to continue to be Coach Prime, and we'll find out what that Colorado thing is going to be. And then, does Colorado end up sticking in the Pac-12, in a newer Pac-12? Do they end up in the Big 12? We will see. But all the best to Deion Sanders today with that surgery. Coming up at 1:05, more NFL stories. Just feels like every day there's another player telling us how great his quarterback is, and we'll get to a couple more of those guys. Offensive side of the ball this time. Guys talking about how great they think their quarterbacks are. Coming up in the crap bag, I'll get into a baseball update story about Rob Manfred that I thought was interesting, especially if you're an Astros fan. Right now, though, we're going to get into a little bit of the mountain discussion. We're doing a mountain of the day as we lead up to football season. Zay and I just talking about these Mount Rushmores of football teams. We've done college versions and we've done pro versions. And yesterday we hit the Texans and Oilers, did the Houston version of it. And we appreciate everybody jumping in on that. Today we're picking a team on the Cowboys schedule early. If you want to find out about this Aaron Rodgers thing, we're going to find out pretty quick with the Jets. So we're going with the Mount Rushmore of the New York Jets today. They play the Bills on that Monday night. They go to the Cowboys week 2. And Zay, by the time week 4 is done, they will also have hosted the Chiefs.
Yeah.
So Bills, Cowboys, Chiefs, 3 of their first 4. The other one is the Patriots, if you care. So that's a hell of a start for Aaron Rodgers.
Oh, talk about being battle-tested early. Like, you don't have much time to get used to, your teammates and get acclimated, which they might be debating Aaron Rodgers playing in a few more or taking a few more snaps in the preseason than he normally would, just so we could get some type of chemistry. Because like you just said, that schedule's thick, boy.
Yeah, I would love to see some really good, rhythmic, well-timed, efficient first quarters, second quarters, especially in the real rehearsal. I'd let him go a full half, maybe even a drive in the third quarter like they used to. Then you get him out. But yeah, I'd try to get him as much as it feels right.
Yeah, you have to.
Yeah, I agree. All right, so Jets Mount Rushmore. You want to go first here?
Yeah, I'll go first, man.
Did this end up being easy for you?
No.
Okay.
Not at all.
All right, where are we going?
Well, first off, you got to understand the Jets, they've been around for a long time. A lot of their players are old. Again, with this, I don't feel comfortable putting guys on there that I haven't seen.
Uh-huh.
Some are just obvious
Okay.
that even though I haven't seen them, you have to put them on. But others, when it comes to like offensive linemen and defensive players and stuff like that, that's where it gets a little shaky for your boy.
Okay.
So my list,
Yeah.
very biased,
All right.
very out there,
Yes.
but a lot makes sense.
All right.
And we're starting with Broadway Joe.
Okay. All right.
Have to put him up there.
Okay. Just like the Earl Campbell thing, you can't
That's
deny
what I'm
that.
saying.
Yeah,
Can't
right.
deny it. I mean,
Right.
over 27,000 yards, 5-time Pro Bowler, obviously Hall of Fame, the Super Bowl III championship, iconic, just calling it his own shot, basically saying, what, they going to win the game? That's
Yeah.
what he said before the game? Just
He guaranteed a victory.
that thing. Like, just didn't give a damn. Guaranteed that thing, and they won it.
And the NFL had dominated the first 2 Super Bowls. A lot of people thought the AFL could not compete. A lot of people thought the AFL was nowhere close. And you got the Colts on the other side, coached by Don Shula, if I'm not mistaken, coming into that game.
Right.
Johnny Yu, I believe, is on the other side of that game, if I'm not mistaken. No, Johnny Yu, I think, was the backup, maybe. It's another quarterback and Johnny Yu were a part of that game. But to guarantee it like that and beat them, it's big time.
And he's so fly, man.
Yeah.
You know, the mink coats and the fur and the white shoes when he played. Like, he was one of the first to wear white shoes when everybody was just so strict. You got to wear black. Everything just has to match. You don't care about how you look. And Joe was like, nah, I'm going to be fly out here. I'm going to smoke a cig every once in a while. I'm going to have a good time. I'm going to live up in New York.
Yeah, he was like some of the Derek Jeter stuff, but he cranked it up even further.
Right.
Like it was because Derek did the mild-mannered version of I'm the captain, I'm going to run New York.
Yeah.
Joe ran it a different way.
Yeah. He had a good time. He partied.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And I know everybody knocks his 173 touchdown to 220 interception rate. That's tough.
That's significant.
Yeah, especially in that era. But still, come on. I think he's the GOAT when it comes to the New York Jets, and you have to have him there.
Yep, I agree. Joe Willie got to be on the list. All right, so Joe Willie was the no doubt about it. Where else did you go?
Curtis Martin.
Curtis, all right.
Yeah, I got to put him up there. Hall of Famer, 5-time Pro Bowler, 1-time All-Pro, 95 Rookie of the Year. So smooth, one of those underrated running backs of the 90s that, you know, gets lost with Barry Sanders, Emmett, and guys like Terrell Davis. But Curtis Martin, he did his thing. He was nice with it.
No doubt. Every year he was with the Jets, other than like maybe 2, was 1,000-yard year. You go look at the productivity. It was silly. Curtis Martin's on mine, too. You got 2 of mine, so you got half of mine so far. Joe Namath, Curtis Martin. I'm with you.
Yeah, and as far as Curtis Martin goes, I remember Bucky Gobble always saying that's the most handsome man he's ever seen in his life.
Oh, Curtis is a very good-looking dude.
Yeah.
No doubt.
Yeah.
No doubt.
I mean, I was a little zesty for me, Buck, but, you know, whatever.
A little
floats your
zesty.
boat. Whatever floats your boat, whatever. But, yeah, Curtis Martin, he did his thing. Got to put him on there.
All right.
Darrell Revis.
Revis Island. I did it
man.
too. I did it too.
Just so locked down. Ridiculous. The matchups that he had, that one incredible season that he had out. What was it? 2011, maybe? I don't remember, but he had about 21 deflections. Nobody threw to his side. He was tough. I know one time he got burnt that I'll always remember is when Brady and Randy Moss connected, and Randy Moss had that one-handed catch on him. That was nasty. But other than that, Darrell Revis was the man. 7-time Pro Bowler, 4-time All-Pro, Hall of Famer. Yeah, he's up there for me. Guy that I loved watching play. And, you know, I love cornerbacks. Champ Bailey's one of my favorite players ever. Deion also. And Darrell Revis, he was one of the greatest cornerbacks of that era. So I had to put him up there.
Yeah, he's on my list, too. He's already in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
That tells me, too, how fast you get into the Hall of Fame sometimes matters. So, Zay, see if this is the season you're thinking of. In 2010, he played in 13 games and defended 10 passes.
That might be it then.
10.
I mean,
think about that. The level of respect that you show a guy like that to never throw over there. Yeah, Revis Island was a real thing. So Joe Namath, Darrell Revis, Curtis Martin, we're 3 for 3. Who was your last one, Zay?
Yeah, ain't no way we're going to get this one.
Yeah?
I mean, look, definitely biased.
Yes.
I had no idea who to pick. Again, I went down the list. I don't know who you are. I don't know who you are. Oh, man, those stats look great. Who are you? A lot of that.
Don't tell me you ended up with Mark Sanchez.
No, I did not.
Okay.
Lake Travis' very own Garrett Wilson. I mean, come on.
Recency bias, ladies and gentlemen. He's 1 year?
1 year already. Rookie of the year. This year, he could be the best wide receiver in the league with Aaron Rodgers.
Zay.
Everybody's saying the moves are sharper, the routes, everything is just so much more on point in year 2. Who do you want me to put? Keyshawn?
Okay.
Wayne Corbett?
First off, I would like to point out that, as always, your Westlake hatred seems to show, but in this case, also your Lake Travis, they may pay for some dinners in Lake Travis for you
man,
now.
I'll take it.
The Cavaliers may love you for this one.
Hey, I'll take a full course meal, 40-something mountain steak, man, medium. I'm good with that. Yo, I'm telling you, Garrett Wilson, one of the greatest high school players in Texas history, coming out of Lake Travis, went to Ohio State. Still tough that Tom Herman didn't recruit that better, even though I knew he wasn't the biggest Texas fan, and he's originally from Ohio, whatever. The Ohio State thing makes sense. Had a great career there, only 3 years, and then 1 season with the Jets. Made a guy like Aaron Rodgers say, oh, I want to come there. You think if Garrett Wilson wasn't there, Aaron Rodgers winning a touchdown in NYC, JFK?
That's the only reason,
That's a big part.
Okay.
He needs somebody to throw to. He needs some confidence to say, I need a guy. And when you're getting compared to Devontae Adams, you know what I'm saying? I get it. There's a whole bunch. I get it. Old heads are probably running off the road right now.
So
Zay, you have
Mount
lost your damn mind.
Rushmore good.
I get it. Remember, I'm leaning. I'm still leaning. Remember that.
Oh, that feels like a honeymoon lean kind of a pick. You were about to go to bed last night, your wife, and you were discussing everything you're going to do on this trip, and then you realize, oh, wait, before I go to bed, I forgot that last name. What's it? Oh, yeah, Garrett Wilson. We're going Garrett Wilson.
Come on now.
All right, before the break, let me see if I can restore some old man quality to this Mount Rushmore discussion, because there was nothing like this dude back in the day. I got to go line of scrimmage with my other pick. I'm going sack exchange. Mark Gastineau, ladies and gentlemen, from 80 to 85, 11 and a half sacks, 26 the next year in only 9 games, 19, 22, and 13 and a half. There was very few as badass as Mark Gastineau. Plus, he and Lawrence Taylor, for me, really elevated the idea of attacking quarterbacks, elevated the idea of defensive stars. Gastineau had the sack dance. It's the first sack dance I remember. It became a big deal. They even made rules against it because he created the sack dance and everybody started doing it, so then they tried to get rid of it. I'm going Mark Gastineau on my 4th. So I'm going with Revis, Gastineau, Namath, and Curtis Martin.
Yo, man, Gastineau looks scary as hell.
Dude, he was a beast. What a beast he was. Just an incredible, incredible player. Mark Gastineau. D-end. East Central is the college. There's one I didn't know. Where the hell is that? East Central University in Ada, Oklahoma? A Division II school?
Man.
Mark Gastineau was D2, born in Ardmore, Oklahoma, and the Sooners and Cowboys couldn't find him.
If you're good enough, they will find you.
Oh, my Lord. 6'5", 266 is the way they list him here. Defensive Player of the Year, four-time All-Pro first team, a second-team All-Pro, 5 Pro Bowls, and was the sack leader in 2 different seasons.
Jeez.
And he was on the New York Jets all-time 4-decade team, and he's in the Ring of Honor. Yeah, Mark Gastineau, just unbelievable. Oh, wait, here we go. This makes sense. First season at that school. Transferred to Arizona State, 1 season playing defensive end before finally settling upon East Central Oklahoma State University. Now East Central University. Wow, okay. There you have it. So it doesn't even count the Arizona State there. Even finished up a little time in the CFL. I'd forgotten about that. So Mark Gastineau is going to be mine. Let us know what you think of the Jets, Mount Rushmore. Somebody sent us Namath, Martin, Revis, and Kevin Mawai back to the line of scrimmage, one of their badass offensive linemen. He's a badass. He's incredible.
Yeah.
That's a discussion to have. Mawai, absolutely Hall of Fame quality guy. Jets, Mount Rushmore. It's a team you got to pay attention to, not only because of Aaron Rodgers, but again, Cowboys play them second game of the year. We will get into at some point today. Aaron Rodgers defending the ayahuasca and the hallucinogenics and the pharmaceuticals, not so much the pharmaceuticals, the natural pharmaceuticals, I guess. He went to the psychedelics is the word I'm trying to come up with. He went to a convention to talk about what he thinks of psychedelics. We will get into that as well.
By the way, Brett Favre's Johnson pick does not make the list.
No, that does not.
That's not going to make it.
That does not make the list. Yes, and to that person that sent this as the jest Mount Rushmore, the butt fumble, Favre's picture, Namath's drunk sideline interview, and Geno Smith getting his jaw broken by a teammate in the locker room. That's probably a Patriots fan right there, or a Giants fan. Thank you so much for that. Jets Mount Rushmore, we'll keep talking about that. 1 o'clock, we'll get in some more NFL stuff. Up next in the crap bag, Rob Manfred admits a mistake. Astros fans, is this good news or bad news? It's the Horn.
Chad and Zay.
All right, rolling through a Friday. 180s standard followed by another. This was a big one back then. Although it's called Summer of '69. Bryan Adams. The Canadian legend. Big run back in the 80s. Saw a great video the other day. My father-in-law was going through something on the TV and wanted to pull up a Tina Turner song because we were thinking of Tina. We're talking about Tina telling stories. He pulled up this incredible deal of Tina and Bryan Adams singing. I think the song's called It's Only Love. I think it's one of Bryan's songs that I don't think she was on the original, but they did it live together. And Zay, I swear it looked like there were 100,000 people there. I mean, it was this massive show.
That's cool.
And I don't know if it was Tina's show or Bryan's show or whatever, but man, it was really cool. I think it was Tina's show. Now that I'm going back, because it had the big Tina over the stage. So it was Tina's tour. She brings him out, but I swear it looked like there were 50,000, 80,000 at least there. It was incredible. Bryan Adams, Stevie Nicks getting us started today. If you missed our discussion of The Chronic and Tombstone yesterday, go back to hornfm.com. Check out the podcast page. That was a good discussion. And check out the beginning of today's show for Zay's vacation hat, which he has now got kind of on the back. So that now you got it down the back, which is the way you dress it up. If you guys go for a nice dinner, just had to slide the hat down the back, you're good.
Exactly.
No problem.
Oh, yeah.
Blocking the sun off the back. Not a problem at all.
Yeah, it's very comfortable.
Yeah.
I'm feeling the look.
Looks good. It looks good. One quick note here. Yesterday we talked about Christian Clark, the running back out of Arizona that verbally committed to Texas. Just to let everybody know, Zay, I started looking up some stuff for him. I was looking at videos today from his junior year, and we can talk about that. But I also noted that this schedule in front of me here on 24/7, so horns247.com, on 24/7 Sports, has him on an official visit to Georgia today. I don't know if that's still happening. I'm also seeing him tweeting and retweeting stuff that you'll like he's retweeting Colin Simmons, the big edge rusher from Duncanville that's coming in. He's Duncanville, right?
Yes.
Yeah, coming in for the big weekend. Mm-hmm. Well, Clark retweeted that, and he retweeted another class of 26 guy that got a visit from Sark, or 25 or 26 guy, and he retweeted that. So all that feels good, but that's got to be a weird feel. I know you keep recruiting them all the way to the end, but that's got to be wild to go meet Kirby Smart the day after you verbally commit to somebody else.
Yeah.
It's got to be strange.
Yeah, it's like telling your girlfriend, oh, yeah, we together and I'm committed and stuff, but I'm about to go on another date with somebody else.
Yeah, go show me around Athens. Yeah. But, remember the old days, the coach that you guys used to have, Mac Brown wouldn't stand for that stuff.
No.
Mac Brown would tell you, hey, if you still have places to go, don't commit to us now.
Right.
Go ahead and go and do whatever you need to do. But once you commit, if you commit to us, I don't want you going anywhere else.
Yeah.
That's the way it used to be.
And Sark would be a hypocrite if he tried to do that because he still recruits guys even though they committed.
That's right.
They haven't signed on that dotted line yet. Ask Colton Vasek. Remember that flip?
Yep.
This a while ago?
Oh, late flip,
Late flip. Oh, we going to OU. Everything's cool. Norman.
Yep.
It's about to get popping. Wearing the Jordan brand. Not so fast.
Yeah.
And bam, now he's at Texas, looking to have a very good freshman year for an edge rushing team that has a few question marks this season. So, yeah, I mean, this is the game, Chad. For him to take another trip to Georgia, it sucks, but hey, we do the same thing with other recruits, and it's just going to continue to happen.
Yeah, and Christian Clark, part of his tweet announcing it yesterday, it said this is home or feels like home, something like that. And if you're a Longhorn fan, you hope that's what sticks. He visited Florida State and Oregon this month as well, and maybe visits Georgia today. We'll see, but he has committed to Texas. So we'll talk about that. The video is pretty impressive. If you haven't watched it yet, he's something to see. Coming up at 1, we'll get back into some NFL stuff. Multiple NFL players defending their own quarterbacks because it's that time of year and they haven't gotten to training camp yet. So this is all they can do is kind of talk smack at each other. So we'll give you the latest smack talk and the latest quarterback that they're saying just might be the best ever. Right now, though, let's get into the crap bag here. If you're an Astros fan, listen up and let's figure out if this is good or bad news for you.
Chad's crap bag.
Crap bag. If you need an easy way to remember it,
Just think of a bag of crap.
And by the way, Zay, got a text in. Says, guys, Christian Clark canceled his OV to Georgia.
Oh, that's what I'm talking about.
I had not seen that. Thank you, texter. Thank you. We'll try to double check that. But at least one texter saying they heard that he canceled. Somebody else said he canceled the visit. Hang on. Did somebody send the image? No. Okay, just checking. Yeah. That's multiple sources right there.
Multiple sources.
Multiple texters
so
say
credible.
he canceled.
I will take it.
That could be good news for you, Texas fans. All right. So the question is, if you're an Astros fan, how do you feel about this kind of story? Rob Manfred does an interview with Time Magazine, and he says that granting the players immunity in the Astros scandal was, quote, maybe not my best decision ever. Quote, I'm not sure that I would have approached it with giving players immunity. Once we gave players immunity, it puts you in a box as to what exactly you were going to do in terms of punishment. I might have gone about the investigative process without that grant of immunity and see where it takes us. Starting with, I'm not going to punish anybody, maybe not my best decision ever. End quote.
He's talking about the players.
He's talking about the players part. So if you're an Astros fan today, I'm trying to figure this out, Zay. I'm the kind of fan that wants to know. I would want to know, was Altuve involved? Was Bregman involved? Was Correa involved? Were other big names involved? But the way it was done protects them all in a way. Hinch got it. GM got it, team got it as a whole. Big fine, lose draft picks. But some fans would say, well, who cares? The actual cheaters didn't get punished. Other than booze at the ballpark, they're going to be called cheaters. Yeah. They didn't take the ring from them, and those players didn't get. So
maybe a couple balls aimed at the noggin.
Maybe, right? But we have. I don't know that we've seen too much of that go too crazy. That we had a guy call Correa a cheater this season. After he, did he strike him out? I think is what it was, that he was proud of himself for striking out a cheater, something like that. So some of that still hangs out there. It's just such a strange story to me. And by the way, A.J. Hinch back in the league now in Detroit. Correa, and Alex Cora is the other weird guy to me here. I still can't believe he didn't get punished more. He was the bench coach for the Astros, then went to the Red Sox and was the manager for the other cheating team back-to-back years. But they just kicked him out for a year and he got to come back. The Red Sox said, welcome back, unlike the Astros.
Right.
And I do think both of them should be put on the same level. I don't know why the Red Sox somehow get away with. It's the same thing to me. They were both caught cheating. They were both doing something they were told specifically not to do. They are both, whatever you want to say, altered, tainted, asterisk, however you want to look at it. Those two championships to me are on the same level. Fans claim them all you want. They didn't technically take them from you, but the rest of us are going to roll our eyes. We just are.
Right.
So if I'm an Astros fan today, I just wonder how I react to that Time Magazine story. Do you not care if you're an Astros fan? Do you not want this coming back up if you're an Astros fan? What's your feel when you hear Rob Manfred say, oh, maybe it wasn't my best decision ever?
Yeah, it's an interesting thing to say. I mean, at the end of the day, he can't take it back. I mean, hey, take games away from him now then. Well, you feel that way if you're still talking about it, but it's so far in the past. They've won a ring since then. Like, yes, it'll always be tainted, but this is a stupid story. For him to say that just to bring it back up again. Yeah, was he asked this question or he just brought it up?
It must have been because he's doing an interview with Time Magazine.
Okay.
So I mean, that's probably... And maybe that's it. They may have I didn't see the exact question that was asked, but that's a logical question that could get asked. Do you have any regrets?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a pretty, yeah. So I guess that's what started.
I mean, does it make him look like a better guy that he says that? Like, I don't think of him as a better guy. They don't do nothing for me. Like, so yeah.
And again,
what's the point?
And if you're a player or you're in the Players Association, to me, it's like, no, man, why are you saying that now?
Yeah.
You did something that kind of helped us out. You protected us all in a way, and let's just move forward. Somebody texted Yankees and Red Sox also engaged in sign stealing, but that's okay. I would never say that's okay, but let's be clear. The Yankees were caught doing the Apple Watch thing. That's what started this whole deal. Then everybody was told specifically not to do it. The Astros did it and did it at a higher level than the Yankees did it. Then the Red Sox did it again in 2018. And the Astros were still doing it in 2018. That's what happened. I hate the Yankees more than any baseball fan out there, possibly. But they do not fall into the category for me. I'm not saying they've never cheated. The league has never come out and said, this is it, absolutely, stop cheating, and then the Yankees cheated the way the Astros and Red Sox did.
Right.
You got to eat this if you're in one of those two fan bases. You get the ring, but you also get the question mark.
Yep.
You get the rest of us commenting on it because it was dirty.
Yeah, it was dirty, but there's been a lot of dirty in baseball.
Sure, yeah. There's been a lot of dirty, and you can say, oh, there's been a lot of dirty that's never been caught. Right. This was the dirty that was caught, specifically talked about, and you were told not to do it, and you did it.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the way it is.
Right.
And deep down, whether it's Altuve, Correa, Bregman that I named, it's because the pitchers don't feel like they'd be connected to me, right? This was an offensive cheat. You were cheating to figure out what they were throwing you. That was the issue. So I always wonder.
I mean, some say they would know and they should have snitched. That would have been the moral thing to do.
I always wonder what the pitchers think now. If I'm McCullers, Fires is the one that started the story. I don't want to be connected to something like that. Wouldn't I want to try to clear my name? But deep down, they all know who was doing it.
Yeah, they knew who was doing it.
They all know who the crew is doing it, and you got to think there's big names in there. So in the end, Manfred protects them, but then comes back and runs his mouth here and brings it back up, and then idiots like me talk about it. That's not what he needs. That's not what he needs.
Yeah.
You just got to come up with a better answer probably than that.
He needs to let it go.
Yeah.
He needs to stop bringing it up.
He does. All right, there's your crap bag for the day. We do it at 12:45 each and every show. Coming up, your 1 o'clock hour in the flex segment. It is 7-on-7 day. Today, we'll tell you who the area teams are matching up with in that hot weather in College Station. And coming up, Kelsey defends Patrick, and another Packer is gushing about Jordan Love. We'll tell you who it is on the Horn. All right, let's go. Hour number 2 on a Friday. I don't think I'm ever going to get fully used to that Grady Dick outfit. My God, you get used to it. It's like the sun shining on your face. You can kind of get used to it for a second, but then you sort of look at it at another angle, and it just drives you crazy. Wow, that is something. NBA draft, we've hit that. We'll continue to do it. NFL stuff out there. In about an hour, we'll talk to Jeff Ketchum of OrangeBloods.com. Huge recruiting weekend for Texas coming up. Christian Clark, the running back, commits yesterday and apparently has canceled that official visit to Georgia. Multiple texters telling us that, although I can't find it anywhere online. I'm going to believe the texters, though. It would make sense. If you verbally commit to Texas on the 22nd, why would you go on an official visit to Georgia on the 23rd? That'd be awkward for you and for Kirby Smart.
Why waste your time?
Now, I'm not saying you never go on a trip to Georgia. I just might not do it the next day. Right? I mean, I guess if you want, I don't know. It is the time of year when you do all your officials. So I guess if you wanted to, you could. But apparently he did cancel it.
Mr. Clark, you can visit Georgia when we maybe play them in 2015 when we go to Athens. How
there
about that?
You go.
How about that?
Little 2025 in Athens.
Yeah.
Okay, fair enough. All right, so we will get into some NFL stuff today. Big flex segment today with the 7-on-7 going on, plus some other stories about some offers and commitments out there. We got a big-time offensive lineman in the area that's got his list down to 2. We will tell you about that. Real quick, Zay, let's update everybody on the Longhorns. People know Victor Wembanyama going to San Antonio, Amen Thompson to Houston. We'll talk about that. Mavericks end up with Derek Lively, the second, with their pick, which ended up being 12 and not 10. But also some Longhorn news people might have missed last night. Some Longhorns that now have a chance to make an impression on NBA teams.
Yeah, shout out to Sir'Jabari Rice, Marcus Carr, and Timmy Allen. All those guys will be on Summer League teams coming up in a week or so. Summer League gets cracking pretty fast, but I want to say Sir'Jabari Rice signed a 2-way contract with the Spurs, which means he'll kind of be back and forth with the Austin Spurs and the San Antonio Spurs, depending on how well he does, obviously. Marcus Carr, I don't know as much about him, but I know he'll be on the Summer League roster with the Phoenix Suns, and so will Timmy Allen with the Memphis Grizzlies. So, hey, this is how you show that you belong. If you go and have a good turnout in the Summer League, playing against guys who got drafted really high and, guys that are coming into their second year of the NBA that are, that their franchise is really high on, then you could finesse your way into an NBA roster. And this is probably the hottest year for undrafted players to do that, because like I've been saying, with what we saw with the Miami Heat, Duncan Robinson, Caleb Martin, Max Strus, Gabe Vincent, all those guys being undrafted players, now the NBA is going to start looking more at undrafted players saying, oh, we don't have to pay guys that much and we could still win with them. Oh, okay, because Miami Heat and Pat Riley, they showed with the example of how good the Heat were going to the NBA Finals with Jimmy Butler and Bam Adebayo. So if I'm Marcus Carr, Timmy Allen, and Sir'Jabari Rice, definitely make the most out of your opportunity. Out of those 3, I think Sir'Jabari Rice has the best chance of making the NBA roster. Him being 6'4", 6'9", 6'10" wingspan, that pump fake, he's so smart, just, how athletic is he compared to NBA athleticism? That's going to be interesting to see. But yeah, I think all those guys have a chance to make it. I think just Sir'Jabari Rice's ceiling is a lot higher than the other 2 players.
At the very least, even if it doesn't happen right away, maybe you get a little Sir'Jabari Rice with the Austin Spurs and you get to go out there and check him out.
Yeah.
Well, that's
which would be dope.
Pretty cool.
One thing that Sir'Jabari Rice is going to have on his side, with Victor Wembanyama playing a few Summer League games, everybody's going to be watching that. Yeah. And you always hear these stories about coaches going to watch like the big 5-star player, and all of a sudden like the teammate stands out and they're like, who's that guy? Sir'Jabari Rice could be that guy.
Mm-hmm.
When everybody's worried about Victor Wembanyama, people are going to be wondering, oh man, that Rice kid, that's a crazy pump fake. That dude's really skilled. He's really tough. He's a better defender than what we thought, even though he's a slender build. This guy, he's solid. So he's going to get a lot more opportunity with Victor Wembanyama on the squad.
By the way, if you are a Spurs freak level 1, they have announced the schedule for the Summer League games. Friday the 7th of July, the 9th of July on a Sunday, Tuesday the 11th, and Friday the 14th. Those games are going to be on TV, ESPN, ESPN2, and a couple on NBA TV. If you are a Spurs freak level 2 or level 5 or level whatever it would be, they are in Vegas again at the Thomas and Mack Center. Zay, it's never something I've thought about going to, but that's got to be kind of a fun little trip if you head to Vegas and go check out some games. I wonder what those tickets are like.
They're great. I've been a couple times.
Have you?
Like $15.
I was going to say, so it's affordable tickets.
I mean, it probably gone up those 10 years ago with inflation and stuff, but yeah, they're definitely not more than $30.
I can go get an affordable ticket, hang out at Thomas and Mack, and see some young talent.
And sit anywhere you want. And one of the
it's a GA ticket.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
cool.
And one of the best things about it with Thomas and Mack Center, it's 2 arenas connected by each other. So there's like 2 games going on.
Oh, nice.
And you can just walk to the other side, one smaller than the other, and the people watching is incredible.
Oh, I bet.
Oh,
yeah,
man, because everybody's there to support their team, Chad, in air quotes, when really they could just say, oh, we're supporting our team, but we're in Vegas, so we're going to party too.
Yeah.
So you kill 2 birds with one stone, and yeah, it's a fun environment.
That's got to be really cool. Yeah, so Spurs fans, that schedule is out there as well. We will talk more NBA draft coming up. I definitely want to get Zay's thoughts on the Twins. Went back-to-back, like some of the mock drafts said, the Thompson twins going 4 and 5. Mavs making a little move and trying to help themselves out money-wise, but also getting a couple players. We'll talk about that as we move on. Also, some football out there. NFL getting a little bit closer. We're doing the Jets Mount Rushmore today. We'll get back into that. But we also have a new, summer disease in the NFL. It's players that can't stop bragging on their own quarterbacks. This first one, though, Zay, is a guy defending his quarterback because he thinks another player took a shot at his quarterback, and as we've talked about, his quarterback also thought that somebody was taking a shot at him. So let's go back through this story and then get to the Travis Kelce chapter.
Yeah, it all started when Joe Burrow was asked, which I don't know what he was asked specifically, if it was who's the best quarterback in the league or the best player in the league. Either way, I think it could be the exact same answer. And Joe Burrow humbly said Patrick Mahomes. Until somebody knocks Patrick Mahomes off the throne as an MVP and a Super Bowl champion, how can it not be him?
Yeah, he went with the king of the mountain theory.
Yeah.
We all can understand that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Joe Burrow, even though he's a cocky son of a gun, he gets it, and I respect him for saying the right answer. Fast forward to Jamar Chase, Bengals wide receiver, Joe Burrow's teammate from LSU, now in Cincinnati. They asked him the same thing, and he disrespectfully said, Pat who?
Well, at first they asked him who the best quarterback was. He said Joe Burrow.
True that.
Then the media, being the media, said, well, Joe said it was Patrick Mahomes.
Right.
And then he said Pat who.
Yeah, then he said Pat who.
Yeah.
And that caused a lot of commotion to where we saw Pat Holmes at the ring ceremony, and he says, this who? What'd he say? That who? And the tweet, I forgot what he said.
Yeah.
He was trolling Jamar Chase with a tweet. And
yeah, what was it? It was, let me make sure I get it exactly right.
Right.
Yeah, that's who with 2 ring emojis.
Exactly.
Yes.
Which is beautifully petty by Patrick Mahomes.
Oh, it's well done.
And Travis Kelce, future Hall of Fame tight end for the Kansas City Chiefs. He went on with his brother on their podcast, and he said, talk your ish pimp, better back it up to Jamar Chase, saying, Pat who?
Travis Kelce calling someone a pimp is kind of funny.
Oh, yeah, it's terrific. And he also went on to say, thank you for the bulletin board material.
Yeah, this is what they all do, man. They're going to find those chips on the shoulder. They're going to find that stuff real or not. And yeah, it got to Patrick. Even if Chase meant it as a joke, he didn't cover it quickly. He let it hang in the air. He let the media take him to a certain spot. He didn't clearly state, hey, I'm going to pick my guy, obviously. And then when they said, oh, so-and-so said Mahomes, hey, obviously Mahomes is a great quarterback. They're the champs. That's who we're chasing. But I got to take my guy.
It's that easy.
That's all you have to do.
It's that easy.
But he let it hang in the air, and it turns into a diss track because that's how it was interpreted. And now we'll have, a little bit more reason to watch those two teams.
Yeah, and that ignorant thinking, Chad, you don't have to go out and stop Patrick Mahomes. You on the sideline when Patrick Mahomes is on the field, Jamar.
Yeah, right.
So
it's your defense that has to eat that.
So how dare you, bruh? As if I'm a defensive player, like, dog, do you understand what he did to us in the AFC Championship game? You were not on the field for any of those snaps when Patrick Mahomes had the ball in his hands. Leave us alone.
Yeah.
Let it be.
Absolutely.
Like, say the right thing. And yeah, they have every right to use it as bulletin board material because we all know it's so hard to repeat. You get comfortable. You get kind of lazy in a way because that same hunger from the year before, it's not there all the time. So going back to what Mike Malone said for the Denver Nuggets, him putting the target on the Nuggets' back, as nuts as that was, he's going to make those guys work for something. Just because he said that and he was like, yo, y'all heard me say this. Y'all going to back me up, right? Y'all ain't going to make me look stupid, is y'all?
Mm-hmm.
And they're going to be like, well, we do love you, coach. You're our guy. It might have been crazy, but you're right. So, yeah, again, as nuts as what he just said, we some greedy bastards. We some greedy bastards. Hey, it's so hard to repeat. And you got to ignite a fire some way, somehow.
Yeah.
I see Kadarius Toney. He was at some jewelry store and he was barking at the Giants because he's still mad that they traded him. He was throwing his middle finger up saying, I'm going to wear the ring right here, my middle finger, and I'm going to show it off to New York. New York, y'all see me? Y'all see me?
He's still talking smack? He just won the title?
He's still talking smack, Chad. He's still hot.
Wow.
He's still hot that they gave up on him in New York for the Giants.
But you won the idea.
It don't matter.
That's weird.
He probably thought, think about it, that New York living. We just talked about it with Joe Namath. If you do it right, that New York living could be good.
That's true. It could
be very different from Kansas City.
Yeah, and the chip on the shoulder is always real. So that makes sense. By the way, a check of the schedule. Chiefs host the Bengals, but not until New Year's Eve.
Wow, that's late.
Next to the last game of the year. So we're going to get all of that. We're going to get 15 NFL games in our pocket before the Bengals go to Kansas City.
Yeah, and that point, with how grueling the NFL season is, who knows who will be available. But that game will have huge playoff implications on seeding and, who's going to have home field advantage and stuff. Great job by the NFL for making that game when they did.
Yeah, that's nice. That's nice. Right towards the end, man.
Because this is a rivalry. It's point blank. Bengals, Chiefs is a rivalry. The Bengals have had their number the last few years until this past season, the AFC Championship, with obviously the Chiefs, going on and winning the Super Bowl. And now these teams barking at one another. This is a legit rivalry.
Because now it's Burrow 3-1 against Patrick Mahomes, but he doesn't have the Super Bowl. Right? He has the trip and a loss. Patrick's got 2 rings and the last win against him.
Yeah.
So,
and I know I've seen a lot of Bengals fans on social media that say if Tyler Boyd didn't get hurt in that AFC Championship game, they would have went on and rolled. And that kind of changed everything that the Bengals were going to do because Tyler Boyd might be the best number 3 receiver in the league going alongside Jamar Chase and T. Higgins. And you remember he blew his knee out early. I don't know if he blew it out, but he got hurt to where he wasn't able to come back in the game.
Yeah, that was sad.
And they put a lot of focus on Jamar Chase and T. Higgins that normally, you wouldn't get with Boyd on the field. And that definitely changed the game. I don't know if the outcome would have been different. We would never know, but hey, we'll see.
Yeah, no, it's going to be great. I always love those little extra layers of excitement in the NFL. So congrats and nice job by Kelsey and Chase and everybody involved here to fire that matchup up even more. The other one we have today, Zay, apparently this is going to become a pattern. There's just Packer after Packer giving Jordan Love his love. What is going on at Packers practice? These are just OTAs, aren't they?
I mean,
voluntary workouts. Could it possibly look this good?
I get it. When it snows up there in Green Bay, it can get dark. So now they're seeing the light. They're seeing the sun. They're just happy and feeling themselves. Right. It's a different vibe. And they talking real crazy. Wide receiver Romeo Doubs said this about Jordan Love when asked what's the difference between him and Aaron Rodgers. He says, can do the same exact thing.
Oh, God.
I mean,
no pressure, JL.
Again, Jair Alexander, all-pro cornerback, said the same thing about Jordan Love. You got Jordan Love himself talking mess to the Cincinnati Bengals, saying, hey, who's your daddy? Or trying to say that at least on Father's Day. Happy Father's Day to the Bengals fans. He messed that all up. But either way, we get what he was trying to say. It was foul. It was petty. And for somebody that hasn't taken the snaps like Jordan Love, this is a lot of talking for his teammates and himself.
All right, Zay, let's help him out here. Let me go inside and try to help because our business can sometimes cause these things. They trapped him into that in a way. What's the answer to the question? What's the difference between Jordan Love and Aaron Rodgers? Give me the Crash Davis answer that doesn't get him in trouble. How should he answer that question?
Well, I mean, Aaron Rodgers is one of the greatest of all time. And Jordan, I know he wants to be that, but hey, he's doing all the right things to maybe be that one day.
Ooh, that's good. That was pretty good.
Appreciate you.
Yeah, that was good.
That's good.
That's good.
Let me take a bow to that.
Very nice. No, it needs to be something along those lines. He is so young in the process. He doesn't even have if he had 5 starts under his belt and he was 4-1 and the numbers look pretty good, that's one thing.
Right.
Man, this kid, he's just trying to drink out of the fire hose, figure it all out, and he's about to put that helmet on and go be the quarterback for that team after that guy. Y'all need to stop adding it on to him, teammates. You got to stop adding all that pressure.
But again, with what he said about the Bears, he's carrying himself in that cocky arrogance aura up there.
You mean Jordan is?
Jordan Love, yes. I am the man. And in a way, you have to do that. You can't bow down. You know what I'm saying? You gotta act like you're the man because everybody knows the shoes that you're gonna fill are big as hell.
Yeah, acting like you're the man is one thing. Acting like you're already Aaron Rodgers, that's a whole nother deal, though.
True.
Very
true.
I'm the man today. I'm the guy getting reps now, and I'm working as hard as I can to live up to being the quarterback of this team. Something like that, and then try to move on. But all these teammates throwing stuff in, oh my God.
Yeah, he going to have to show me something.
He can do all the same things.
And I'm excited to see him. I mean, he going to have to show me something. Obviously, he's a cocky son of a bee. He going to have to show me something, and yeah, he'll get his chance soon enough.
The receiver even used the word exact, didn't he? Exact same things. That's a tough thing that's a tough way to say it, too.
Yeah.
He went way too specific. Also, when you're a receiver that most NFL fans barely know your name, we're learning your name,
right.
You probably shouldn't do stuff like that.
Yeah, that's tough.
Because it's kind of a, who said that about who? We're trying to learn both of you right now.
And again, look at it from a receiver's point of view. I need my touches, Chad.
Yeah.
So I'm going to say anything. I'm going to say anything to the quarterback that's going to get me the ball as much as possible because, they don't pay well in Green Bay anyway. I ain't going to get the money I probably deserve. So I need as many touches as I can get. So when free agency hits, that people say, okay, this guy, we're going to throw him some paper. And if I have to say, yo, man, this Jordan Love dude, shoot, he might be the next Aikman. If I have to say anything like that just so I can get the ball in my hands more, then hey, so be it. So Romeo Doubs, I can't knock you too much.
Yeah.
If that's your mindset, I can't knock you too much.
Hey, Jordan, you see what I said about you to the media yesterday? Yeah, you just remember, look for Dobbs when we break the huddle. Look for that Dobbs on the back of the jersey. He's trying to get a little love. Love it. The summer pattern of everybody talking great about their quarterbacks. It's not just about Cowboys talking about Dak. We've had it in Chicago, Green Bay, and then the whole Cincinnati and Kansas City thing is fascinating as well. NFL right around the corner. And again, Chiefs and Bengals next to last game of the year. That is pretty cool. All right, coming up, let's get you a flex segment. 7-on-7 starts today for the area teams. I screwed up yesterday and thought it started yesterday. It did for the lower classifications, but the big area teams that we're dealing with and thinking about, they start today over in College Station, and it is going to be hot. We'll tell you some of those matchups to look for, plus a big-time flex athlete has the list down to 2. We'll tell you what those 2 are next on The Horn.
Chad and Zay.
Oh, nothing like a little AC/DC on a Friday. Dirty Deeds done dirt cheap.
That's right.
Come on now. This was not on the album that I made you listen to. This is not on Back in Black. But solid track.
Yeah.
Can't remember which album it's on. Actually, no, it's Dirty Deeds. There's an album, Dirty Deeds. Done dirt cheap. This album is not as good as Back in Black. I'll just be honest with you.
That's fine.
I did not have you listen to Dirty Deeds for a reason.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, AC/DC does not have great album after great album after great album. They do have a couple, though.
But they have like a lot of hits on the
A
album.
lot of
that
hits on the
everybody
album.
Can recognize.
Oh, there's like one or two on every
Yeah.
record that you're just going to get fired up about. Love me some AC/DC. Bryan Adams and Stevie Nicks also today as we get into the show about halfway through. Zay, how we doing on your lean? How we doing on your honeymoon next week lean? Are you still focused?
Oh, I'm in the groove.
You still with me?
Oh, yeah, I'm good.
You do know that the Atlanta Hawks did not draft Tree Rawlings last night. You know that, right? You do understand that?
Yo, you said some names today, man. I respect it. I've heard Alex English, Vlade Divac, Eldon Campbell. You've thrown some names out today, man.
Bucks,
taking me back.
The Bucks are not trying to pair Sidney Moncrief up with the Freak. You know that, right?
Yo, Sid the Kid, man.
Loved Moncrief.
Lock up.
Loved him when I was a
Had
kid.
Fly Nike shoes, man. He used to give the Celtics and the Pistons hell.
I know. I wish he could have gotten by Larry a couple times.
He did one time, I think.
I think maybe once. You're
Yeah.
right. They may have got. God, I would root for those teams against the Celtics all the time.
Terry Cummins.
Those Terry Cummings, exactly. I'd root for the Neek Hawks teams to get by
Right.
Larry, and it
Yeah.
just, not as much as I wanted it to happen.
Maybe if Doc Rivers could hit a damn jumper.
Come on, Doc. Help him out. Help him out.
No, Doc was a really good player. It wasn't his fault.
We'll talk more NBA draft. I want to get Zay's thoughts on Mavs and Rockets and what they did last night. We've already talked about Victor Wembanyama just saying everything right, looking right, getting everything going. Even that weird green suit, that would look so dumb on any other human being, but somehow he made it work.
Yo, that's the Oprah Winfrey 90s collection, dog.
Hey.
That's a different suit. It takes a different type of brother to say okay to that.
Yeah, he got a free book from the book club with that one. And then that necklace and everything. I mean, he pulled it off. He made it work. You see those rings he was
I
wearing?
don't know if he pulled it off, but
Somebody maybe can help if y'all know what's going on with the young folks. What was the significance, do you think, of on one hand, he had a diamond ring on his index finger. On the other hand, he had the same type of diamond ring on his pinky, if I'm not mistaken. You might know what that signifies?
I have no idea.
I don't know if that's a symbolic thing in some way.
Yeah.
One hand and the other. I'm sure both of those rings cost more than my car.
Oh, yeah.
Way more, probably more than my car and my house combined. But they were nice. I'm not sure what it represents, though. He was looking awesome.
He might have the most swag that we've ever seen in San Antonio since George Iceman Gervin.
Oh, okay. On like a superstar.
On like a superstar.
Because like Steven Jackson had swag.
Right.
But
it was different. Like Steven Jackson's swag was mixed with a lot of thug. love Steven Jackson. He tell you himself.
I love Steven Jackson.
I love
yeah.
him. He'll tell you himself. Like,
Yeah.
yo, man, he is got it from the mud type of brother. But yeah, like Iceman George Gervin, again, the iconic poster where he's on the block of ice.
Oh, it's
and
a
his
great
legs
poster.
are crossed, man.
Yeah.
Like, if they have Wembanyama recreate that, I know he's not Iceman, but something like that, that'd be dope.
That'd be very cool. Yeah, that'd be really nice. We'll see what they'll do marketing-wise. There's so many things you could do with Victor Wembanyama. We'll get into more of that talk. First, though, let's get you a flex segment, and we'll start over at College Station. Keep cool.
Flex ATX for the best high school sports coverage. Listen to the Horn and go to FLXATX.com. Flex 30 is brought to you by Brain Vault. Brain Vault is a revolutionary and patented mouthguard that has been proven to help reduce the risk of concussion. Visit BrainVault.com and join the movement.
Oh, I hope they are staying hydrated over there at College Station. Veterans Memorial Park is where the 7-on-7 state tournament happens, and it cranks up today for the higher classification. So here we go. 145, 315, and 445, Zay, are the start times of the 3 round robin games.
Damn.
Holy hell, Batman. Holy humidity.
I never asked you, how many guys can be on the roster or are allowed to be on the roster?
Ooh, that's a great question. I don't know, but from being there and seeing it a couple times, I'm going to guess the number is like, I don't know, 15-ish?
Oh, no, that's too low.
15 or 20 maybe?
Nah, for these weather conditions, okay, 20.
Maybe it gets up to 20?
Now that's what we're talking.
Yeah, something like that.
This is one of those, freshman JV guys, even though you might not have no chance of playing any varsity ball next year, with what we're dealing with the heat, we might have to just bring some extra bodies.
Yeah, it definitely is going to get warm over there. So here's some of the matchups that jumped out to me. They'll get going again at 1:45. You play everybody in your group. You have a group of 4. Weiss is going to have Odessa and Lake Dallas in their group. San Marcos has got to get by Cy Falls and Timber Creek in their group. Round Rock's facing Abilene and Rudder. Vista Ridge has Capel in their group. Westwood has Manville and San Antonio Johnson. I'm not sure if Manville's going to be really good this year. They used to be badass, but now they've kind of split off and taken some of those kids to another school I'm about to mention. So I'm not sure if they're great.
Summit.
Because that other one, Shadow Creek, that one's coming here in a second. Westlake, this is interesting to me. Westlake, Zay, they've got Red Oak in their group. The school up there in the Dallas area, right up 35.
Right by where you're from.
By Waxahachie. Used to be a lot smaller than Waxahachie, but it feels like it's growing by the day. And remember, there's some stud receivers and DBs that 4-star guys, 4 and 5 stars that people are looking at. Especially, I want to say it's even more maybe on the defensive side. So they are going to play Red Oak at some point today. We'll see how that one goes. Lake Travis has Shadow Creek in their group. The team I was just talking about, we'll see how talented they are this year. And then Dripping Springs has got the Woodlands in their group. You got to be first or second. That's how you advance. Be first or second out of your 4, and you advance into tomorrow's round, and they thankfully start in the morning at like 8:45 on the first one, and you try to advance through, and usually they're done by 12, 1 o'clock or whatever. It is a fun event to check out, but let's just hope everybody stays nice and hydrated. But local teams, that's 8 of the teams in the area looking to advance today.
Yeah, let's see who shows out. I mean, hey, even though it's summer, you're working to something bigger in the fall, and it starts here. And again, like we've been saying all week, it builds that chemistry and camaraderie, like we've been talking about with DeSoto this past season, who won the 7-on-7 event, then went on to win the state championship in 5A. So it definitely translates, and we'll see if it does again, whoever wins 7-on-7 this year.
All right, Zay, one of our favorite receivers in the area has added another offer. Miles Coleman from Vandegrift had Tulsa and UNLV in his pocket. Now he's got North Texas added to that offer list. Keep an eye on that. Class of 24. I'm interested to see who else will be interested in Miles Coleman by the end of this cycle. That's a talented dude.
Yeah.
I think Miles Coleman can play. With all due respect to those 3 schools, I think he can play at schools higher than that level.
I agree. And I think he's going to have an even bigger season than he did last year. And that's saying a lot with them going to the state championship. And yeah, man, he's an absolute star. I know a lot of coaches are a little scared of his size, but man, you see guys like Deuce Vaughn, it could be done.
Oh, absolutely.
It could definitely be done. And if you utilize him the right way, I think he could be a terrific player on the D1 level. I expect more offers to come.
And he's at a position where that size is not as big a deal as when you're talking about running backs. You can put him all over the field, do all kinds of cool stuff with Miles Coleman. Also, Chad Otutu is about ready to make his decision. The big offensive lineman at Weiss is down to UTSA and UNLV, so we wish him all the best. He will make his choice. Maybe sounds like pretty quick. He put that big question mark tweet out on that. Check out FLXATX on your social media. So Zay, Amen Thompson, and last night in listening, I think we're going to go with the sound of at the beginning of both their names. So Amen and Asar.
Okay.
We good with that?
I'm good with it.
Amen Thompson ends up in Houston. That's kind of what we were talking about in the last few days. Give me your thoughts on what he could be for the Rockets.
Another spark. You know, he's so athletic and he's such a big guard at 6'7". He's going to cause a lot of mismatches. And him and Jalen Green and Jabari Smith and Alfred Sengun, they got a lot of young core guys that they could build around. I don't know if Kevin Porter Jr. is going to be a part of it. The lefty, who is also pretty young, coming out of USC a few years ago, he's been pretty good for him. He's very streaky, but I think they've made their decision to stick with Green over a Kevin Porter Jr. And you see with somebody like an Amen Thompson being thrown into the bunch, I don't know what they're going to do there, but Ime Udoka, he's a solid coach, and I think he'll be able to figure it out. They have a ton of cap space and ton of money to throw around in free agency. Who knows if they could find maybe a big-time all-star player to pair with their young core. They definitely could use that. But, yeah, I like the Thompson twins. I think them going back-to-back is definitely iconic. We've never seen it before.
That's so cool.
Oh, it's so cool.
Golly.
They have a chance to be the greatest twins in the history of the NBA, from the Morris twins coming out of Kansas, from the Collins and the Brooks twins.
The Lopez
twins.
Yeah.
Brooke and Robin Lopez, both coming out of Stanford. I think they could be better than all three of those set of twins. So, yeah, I know they made their parents proud, and the sky's the limit for both of them.
If they got picked 24 and 25, it'd be cool. If they got picked like 50 and 51, it'd be cool. They got picked 4 and 5.
Right.
That is unbelievable. And then the other great stat, do you see this last night? They are the first, I think I got this right. They are the first twins to go top 5 and back-to-back in like all the 4 major sports. There's like one instance in hockey. The Sundin brothers, I think it was. I think they went 2-3 in one draft.
Okay.
But it's been like back in the 90s. Like there's been one time. But now I think they're the first twins. I think because maybe those brothers aren't twins. Maybe that's what it was. They're the first twins to get drafted that high, and only the second, set of brothers to get drafted in any of the team sports other than those. I mean, it's only the second instance ever. That's crazy.
It is nuts. And there's always that, worry about them coming from the overtime league. And did they just look so much more spectacular than all the 16 and 17-year-olds they were dominating, which these guys are 20. So there could be a huge difference there. But they were good in 2022 in the overtime league, and this past year in the overtime league, they were champions in both of those seasons. So I think their game is going to translate. I like Ausar going to the Pistons.
Yep.
That might be a better fit than his brother going to Houston, just because there's so many guards in Houston. Not everybody could touch the ball. With the other Thompson twin going to Detroit, he could be more of a wing and be more of a defensive guy, and his offensive game could develop around guys like Jaden Ivey and a Cade Cunningham. So, I think both of those guys are great picks. And again, they got a lot in front of them. They have a ton of upside.
Yeah, it's really interesting stuff. Cool story for that family last night at 4 and 5. Coming up, we'll talk more about what the Mavs did last night as well. I got to get Zay's thoughts on Lively before we're done.
Shout out to the person on the Specs text line that said Ime Udoka is an oak.
That's well done. Well done. It'll take a little time to explain that one, but that was well done, tying in a lot of things this week. That's fantastic. All right, coming up, we'll talk to Jeff Ketchum, orangebloods.com at 2:05. Huge recruiting weekend. Official visits coming in for Texas. We'll get his thoughts on all that and the commitment they got yesterday from Christian Clark out of Arizona. Up next, it's Where We At in Society. Zay will let you know before he heads off on his honeymoon. This is The Horn.
Chad and Zay.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Aaron Rodgers ayahuasca session. We're in stage 4.
It's a longer build-up than I.
Stage 5, we'll start talking to
Than
our
I
teammates. Stage 6, we might actually learn about the teammates. This one sounds weird. This is like some weird David Bowie track or something.
I could have sworn this ain't the song that I had.
Or is this like some old metal song that like takes a while to get going?
I guess 50 seconds though.
All right, what do you got?
The Moody Blues.
Ah.
Ride My Seesaw.
Let me tell you what, when the Moody Blues put together Ride My Seesaw, no one was sober. Nobody. Their families weren't sober. They weren't sober. Well done, boys. The Moody Blues, AC/DC, Bryan Adams, and Stevie Nicks. And if you haven't heard, Aaron Rodgers was at the Psychedelics convention arguing for the legalization of psychedelics and ayahuasca and things like that, and said that it helped him get better connected with his teammates. Apparently, a sober Aaron Rodgers couldn't just say, "Hey, man, where are you from?" Apparently, that's not possible. Aaron Rodgers got to get all levels of hit different levels of his third eye before he can get to that point.
I respect it.
No, he does it a lot of different ways.
When he said, yeah, 1 year I was off it, 24 touchdowns, 6 interceptions. The next year I was on it, 48 touchdowns, like 8 interceptions. So why not stay on it, huh? All right.
It is a great quote. Like, you can hate Aaron Rodgers, and I know a lot of people do, but that is a fantastic line when he says, yes, the official quote is, it's going to be hard to cancel me because, the previous year, 26 touchdowns, 4 interceptions, we had a good season. Ayahuasca, 48 touchdowns, 5 interceptions, MVP. What are you going to say? End quote. That's great. That's fantastic.
Wow.
I can't say much. And again, we're talking a little Jets today because they are our Mount Rushmore team of the day. I went Joe Namath, Mark Gastineau, Darrelle Revis, and Curtis Martin. Zay took Mark Gastineau out, and he went super local love with Garrett Wilson.
I had to.
One season's enough to put him on the Mount Rushmore, according to Zay.
I didn't see Gastineau. Sorry.
It's also the Cowboys and Jets week 2. That's another reason we're talking a little bit of Jets today. We'll talk more Longhorns coming up at 2:05 with Jeff Ketchum of OrangeBloods.com. A lot of good visits coming in for Texas, and they got a big commit yesterday we'll talk to him about.
So Chad, before we get into where we at,
yeah,
gotta, establish something because
yes,
B&E, they make a very big deal when I was the producer and I got married while I produced the show, but I got married at the courthouse in the summer.
Right.
And then we had our wedding, which you came to in January.
Mm-hmm.
And they always give me grief that I have 2 anniversaries. And so people are asking me, I got 2 honeymoons. No, y'all. 1 anniversary.
Okay.
We do acknowledge the one in the summer, but the one that we really celebrate where we go out to eat and we exchange gifts and stuff, that's the one in January.
That's the one where everybody showed up.
Everybody showed. Exactly.
The ceremony.
The ceremony.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Right. Okay.
So,
all right.
Yeah, my wife has not finessed me into making me give her 2 gifts for 2 different anniversaries. I am not that whip.
Okay, so you go 1 ceremony, therefore your anniversary is in January.
Yes.
And this is the first honeymoon and only honeymoon you've been on.
The only one.
Okay. There it is. There it is.
Yeah, just let the people know, people asking and stuff. Just letting y'all know because y'all are so concerned. Yes. I am not that whip.
That is fantastic.
Love my wife. I am not that whip.
Fantastic. And yes, Kevin Mawai getting a lot of love today from folks that know the Jets. That he's on some people's Mount Rushmore.
Wayne Corbett.
Wayne Corbett, yeah.
Come on, man.
Wayne was damn good. I don't think he was that good, though. I don't think he was that good. When I was growing up, what was that cat's name? Wesley Walker was a badass Jets receiver. Not quite Mount Rushmore worthy, but he was damn good. Richard Todd at quarterback. Freeman McNeil as running back. A couple of my Aggie running backs ended up as Jets, but I don't think any of them end up at Mount Rushmore level. We've hit that today. Let's get into a little where we at in society. Last one before Zay goes on the honeymoon. Let's see what he wants to get to.
Where are we at in society today?
All right, Zay, do I need to go to Twitter one more time before you?
Yeah, go to Twitter,
All right.
and it's one of your favorite people and one of the greatest NBA players of all time. Some people argue maybe the greatest of all time.
Mm-hmm.
Rihanna and LeBron
Oh.
met overseas at some fashion event.
Oh, how about that?
And I'm going to ask you and the people, is this inappropriate or not?
Oh, right.
Rihanna is pregnant with her second baby with A$AP Rocky, and she's wearing this jacket to where it's open, and she just has on like a crop top / sports bra, but the baby's out, the belly's showing.
It's designed to show. It's designed to expose the belly.
Right, and
Yeah.
she couldn't look more incredible, by the way. She's
she
wearing all
looks-
blue. She just
Dude.
glowing. So LeBron James gives her a hug, greets her, and then rubs the baby bump.
He does put his hand on the bump,
Puts the hand on the bump.
as if to say congratulations
yes,
on the baby.
Yes.
Now, I haven't heard the audio of it. Is there anything like a may I or
I don't know. It's
something.
like music playing in the background, but Rihanna's always been a huge LeBron fan.
Yeah, I say, or did she scream out like, LeBron, touch my
Oh,
baby, touch
she's
my
a-
baby?
She's a huge LeBron fan, going back to his Heat days. Like, she used
Okay.
to go to Heat games. She's always supported LeBron, which makes people as ignorant as they could be to think that they might have had something back in the day. Even though LeBron's always been with Savannah, always been with his wife,
Yeah.
high school sweetheart. Rihanna been with Drake, obviously Chris Brown, now with A$AP Rocky, but, you know, there's never been any real depth to LeBron and Rihanna doing anything together.
Right.
But I showed my wife this, and she kind of lost it. She said, oh, that's so disrespectful. If he didn't ask, you do not touch a woman's bump.
Yeah,
And I go, but baby, it's LeBron James.
Yeah.
And she's like, it don't matter who it is.
Yeah, that doesn't give him the right to touch the bump, I don't think. I mean, I don't know what, again, is this literally the first time they've ever met?
No.
Okay, they know each other.
They know each other.
If they're friends on a certain level, maybe it's something that, you know, there's an understanding there. But yeah, it's a little weird. That's one, even though the garment itself exposes it in a different way, I would probably, unless it is my wife.
Right.
Even when it is my wife, I'm not going to always assume that I get to touch the baby bump, but especially if it's somebody else, I probably would ask there. Yeah, if I'm just anybody, I wouldn't try that with Rihanna.
Right.
LeBron may get away with it in a different way, but nobody else should try that.
And that's it.
Yeah.
Like, is it because it's LeBron that it's okay? And she's always been a huge LeBron fan, and they obviously have a good relationship because she doesn't look
No,
like
she doesn't look
awkward. She
No.
doesn't look like it was a problem.
And
Like, she touched his hand, but it was kind of like she was saying thank you, and he was obviously complimenting her and telling her congratulations on the baby.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, we don't know. They could have been together at some point. She's got, when she's pregnant, and she could have literally said to him, hey, feel right here. It's been kicking. Something like that. That's something that I've had happen to me with a friend or friend or family member, something like that. You are given that permission. Hey, put your hand right here. You can feel. You feel that? Oh, it's kicking. Something like that. That may have already happened. So the fact that he gets to that point, maybe he feels like it's acceptable. I don't know.
Somebody on the Specs text line said, I let LeBron rub my wife's baby bump if it gave me a chance of having a son that's good at basketball.
There you go.
I don't think it
There
works
it
that
is.
way, but hey, anything.
The biggest lesson we learn out of that video is this. The pregnant woman glow is real, but when it's Rihanna, it is real.
Oh my gosh.
She looks incredible.
Yeah. She's one of the most beautiful women in the world.
Yeah, she is
Man.
unbelievable.
Still, see now, Chad, if she was rocking that outfit, going back to the Super Bowl
I
performance,
was just about to
if
ask
she
you.
was
Yep.
rocking that outfit,
You'd have been okay with
that
it.
would have been one of the greatest performances we've ever seen. Remember, that's the only thing I had a problem with.
Yeah.
Because look at her, Chad. She could have pulled off the more skin look. She could have pulled it off.
Yeah. She looks you're right. She looks completely non-bothered by what happened. But
Yeah.
what LeBron did.
Yeah.
Completely not bothered.
And that's why people are speculating, oh, maybe her love for LeBron is this real to where, And then where's it for A$AP Rocky, the baby dad? Would you be offended if somebody did this to your wife, open belly and all?
If they'd never met, yeah. But if it's, again,
If it's Braun,
if there's a friendship here,
Yeah.
that's different. That's a little different.
like a Troy Aikman, 90s, rubbed your wife in the belly, how would you feel?
The day they met,
Yes.
I would probably get tackled to the ground because I would say something like, hey, 8, easy now. Y'all just met. And then they tackle me to the ground.
After the rings?
If they already knew each other, that'd be different.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, you got to have
Wow,
a
look at you.
relationship there.
Wow, look at you.
I would hope I would be that guy.
Interesting.
Now, in real life, I would probably just go, oh, you're Troy Aikman. And that'd be it. But in my mind, I would be that cool husband that would try that. I don't know if it'd work. All right. So if you haven't seen that one, check it out. Remember, Zay is at ain'tthat_Zay. I'm at C Hastings 1049. Zay, are you going to be in social media land at all while you're on your honeymoon, or are you going to just disconnect?
I'll do a little something.
little something?
Yeah, a little something for the people. Just show how much of a good time we're having.
I was going to say, what do they call? I know what a thirst trap is on social media. What do you call it when you put the picture of a vacation out because you're trying to make everybody jealous? A jealous trap? What do they call that? Is there a name for that?
I don't know if there's a name for that.
Because a lot of people get into those.
Yeah.
Yeah. You'll see the picture of the palm trees.
Oh,
and
yeah, on the beach with sand in the water
Oh,
and
yeah.
stuff. Oh, yeah.
Not a bad way to spend a Tuesday. And it's like, oh, I'm glad they're there, but I'm a little jealous that they're there. That's going to be Zay next week. Up next, your 2 o'clock hour. We'll start it with some recruiting talk. Jeff Ketchum, orangebloods.com, the get that the Longhorns got yesterday, and the different recruits coming in this weekend that would make it even bigger news for the week. We'll get Ketch's thoughts on all of that. Don't move. It's the Horn.
Chad and Zay.
All right. It is Friday, hour number 3. One more hour, and then Zay is on his honeymoon. See if I can get any attention out of him for this last hour. I'm Chad Hastings. He is Isaiah Collier. He was at least focused enough to pick this beat out for us, and that's all we can ask for. What do you got, Zay?
Bun and Pimp, UGK, Wood Wheel. Classic.
It's a great beat.
Oh,
got a little crunch to it.
Yeah, definitely funky.
Very nice. Very nice. Nothing wrong with the UGK beat to get your weekend started. Lots of stuff going on this weekend. Of course, you've got the College World Series final now set. Man, Wake Forest couldn't quite finish the deal.
Yo.
LSU with a walk-off in the 11th. What an epic game that was last night. Pitchers duel all the way. Incredible plays throughout defensively. And then Tommy White, they call him Tanks, takes it out on the first pitch he sees in the 11th. 2-run bomb ends it. Championship game is tomorrow at 6 o'clock, LSU in Florida. I heard Ty Harrington on with Craig today make a great point. If you're a Texas fan and you love your Texas baseball, hey, tune into this thing this weekend because this is obviously 2 SEC dogs going at it for all the marbles.
Yeah.
So this is obviously, that's a couple programs you're going to be dealing with coming up in the future when the SEC baseball scheduling gets even better and even wilder, adding Texas and Oklahoma.
Yeah, Tennessee, they got knocked out, but they were in Omaha. It's thick in the SEC.
Vanderbilt. I mean, there's just so many good baseball teams going to be in that conference.
Mississippi State won it a couple of years ago.
Yeah, absolutely. Ole Miss won it last year.
Yeah, right.
Ole Miss out of nowhere won it last year. That was incredible. And beat Oklahoma. Those two teams got to the championship round last year, if I'm remembering correctly. We've also hit some NBA draft. Wembanyama's a Spur. Mr. Thompson, that would be Amen Thompson, is a Rocket. His brother went to Detroit. Mavericks made a move and got themselves the Duke product, Derek Lively II. We'll talk more about that coming up. But right now, let's get to some more Longhorn stuff. Huge weekend coming up and a nice commit on a Thursday to talk about as well. Let's go to the Vaqueros Cafe and Cantina hotline. We do it every Friday about this time with Jeff Ketchum of orangebloods.com. Ketch, how are you?
I'm good. I've got some honeymoon advice for Zay.
I figured you would.
Shoot, Catch. I need that, man.
Don't work on your vacation. Your wife will either remind you all the way through your marriage or all the way through your pending divorce. I can remember in 2010, I got married, I guess the weekend before the NFL draft, and it was the Colt McCoy, Tim Tebow, Sam Bradford draft, and I'm just too addicted to work. And so we were on a beach in Jamaica, like my wife is half naked, and I'm like, I'll be out of the hotel room and like, just give me an hour. We're waiting for Colt to get drafted. And if you can believe it, it's been 13 years and it still gets brought up.
At this time, Ketch and I had known each other about 2 years or so. I asked him about it. I knew how much he loved the draft. I was trying to, as nice as I could, to say, hey, wouldn't you want to move that to a different time? And, of course, Ketch, having never lost an argument, was like, no, man, I know what I'm doing. I can understand. No, I can't completely disconnect. It's okay. It's going to be fine. And then he gets back, and the look on his face was just priceless and sad at the same time, because I realized then, Ketch, that you kind of knew, and it sounds like time has only told you since then.
Yeah, but I don't regret it. I mean,
of course you don't.
I mean, I'm still married.
Right. Now that's true.
go.
Let's point that out. Still married with the twins. Life is good.
Yeah,
that is fantastic.
And I feel like we've made it through that first 5-year thing, right? I don't know. It's the honeymoon ends and then it's crisis time in marriages. And if you can get through that certain period of time, you usually stay married forever. I think I might have done that, but yeah, the first week, my wife remembers my honeymoon for me working and for me catching my eyebrows on fire during like one of those flammable drinks. I didn't do so well with those.
Wow, that is not a good way. Don't do that either, Zay. Do not
Nah,
set yourself on fire. That's another good piece of advice.
I'm good. Like I hear you, Catch. Like
Yeah.
I thought I was smart with the draft being yesterday and the NBA finals done. I thought this was good time for me to go on vacation, so I don't got to worry about nothing.
Yep.
Look at my phone. I'm good.
Yeah, that's good timing. Good timing on your part.
We'll see.
Yeah,
What do you guys want to talk about today besides honeymoon?
We'll see. Give it. Obviously, we'll get to the weekend of recruiting that's coming up, but I wanted to get your thoughts on Christian Clark, this running back out of Arizona. I watched a little film on him today. If I was a Longhorn fan, I'd be pretty excited about a guy like that. Your eyes are far more trained on this stuff, though, than I am. So you tell me about him. What do you see? How special is he? How excited should a Longhorn fan be if he ends up at Texas?
He's one of my favorite guys. He's my favorite guy that they have committed so far. If he were a state of Texas prospect, for me, I like him more than all of the services. Rivals has him ranked the highest at 154 in the country. I like him even more than that. You know, Texas is bringing in a running back this weekend that, quite frankly, they're, I think, expecting to have in the commitment class Jarrett Gibson from IMG Academy, who's ranked as a national top 70 guy by almost everybody. I would flip-flop those rankings for both those players. I think Christian Clark is a high school version of Bijan and Terrell Davis kind of mixed together.
Ooh, that's
I like a
interesting.
lot
Yeah.
about, let me tell you what I like about Christian Clark. First of all, he's built like a guy who's going to be a grown man and not one of these smaller running backs. And look, I'm a big fan of Caden Durham, the kid out of Duncanville. I think he's a five-star guy, but if somebody wanted to tell me he's too small, even if he runs a 10.25, I can at least understand where they're coming from. You kind of want your running backs to be men, if at all possible. I think Christian Clark is that. I think the thing that's you'll see some Bijan qualities in him, but what I like the most about Clark is that from the moment he makes the cut on any given play and he bursts out of it, I think he's elite. I think there's an elite burst out of his breaks that has a chance to make him an exceptional college running back. And then he gets north-south real fast. Typically guys, and this was a critique I had of C.J. Baxter a year ago. When guys are the fastest guys on the field, they oftentimes break it to the outside because they trust their speed that much. What I like about Clark is that he doesn't, even when he gets into the open field, he's north-south, straight to the end zone. He's not a guy that's trying to break it to the outside. He runs with a hard downhill lean. He's the kind of guy that's always going to get an extra 1 or 2 yards. He's got a little bit of that, I feel like I'm throwing a bunch of names. I really like Christian Clark. He's got that Cedric Benson thing, though, that he can turn a 3-yard run into a 5-yard run because of how hard he's working at the end of his runs. There's just a lot of things. In my mind, you can close your eyes and in 2 years see C.J. Baxter and Christian Clark as one of the best 1-2 punches in the country.
Gotcha.
Yeah, definitely Longhorn fans have a lot to look forward to with the running back room. How about this weekend, Catch? It's definitely headlined by Colin Simmons, the edge rusher out of Duncanville, and also Kobe Black, the 5-star cornerback. Both of those guys will be in town. How important is this weekend for this coaching staff?
Weirdly, you didn't mention Micah Hudson, but let's just throw that out there real quick. 5-star wide receiver ends up not taking an official visit this weekend. In a way, maybe that's a good thing because I really think Texas wants to put a lot of eggs in this visit weekend for Colin Simmons. They need to make a real impact. It's funny. 6 months ago, you might have said this had the makings of an LSU-Texas battle, and then he visits USC, and he hits all the schools. He's done his due diligence. I feel like he has an idea of what's out there across the country. And here we are in June, and it still feels like an LSU-Texas battle. So this moment, I don't think it's the last time because Colin Simmons is expected to take this recruitment potentially to signing day. So this probably won't be the last time that he's on campus. But in the event that he decides he wants to make a decision, and this actually is the last time he visits Texas before he makes a decision, you really want to, I think, just show him everything that you can. And I'll let you in, like, behind the curtain a little bit. there have been guys in this particular recruiting class that have, told reporters, I really hated this other recruiter. In fact, one recruit that we spoke to behind the scenes called it the Arch Manning treatment.
Oh.
And they felt like they didn't get the Arch Manning treatment. Well, when you have a bunch of guys on campus, it's hard to have them all on like golf carts, and some guys got to walk. And Colin Simmons is not going to be walking this weekend. So I think, I don't want to say you can only have so many 5-stars on campus at once, but in reality, maybe that's true because some of these guys are divas. Some of these guys want to feel like they're the most important guy in the room. You could make a case that if Micah Hudson and Colin Simmons you've got on campus at the same time, you've got a couple of guys that you want to give that amount of attention to. Colin Simmons is probably the most important player in this class. He's currently my number one guy in the state of Texas, in part for positional value. I mean, if this guy hits, he's Von Miller, Brian Arakpo, Le'Veon Chason, like he's in freak mode potentially. And you don't get that many guys, right? I mean, Von Miller, that's half a generation ago if you're an A&M fan. And it doesn't lessen like how cool it was to have that guy on campus, but they don't come around all the time. And so, and look, I just threw the Brian Arakpo thing out there. It's been a while since the Longhorns have had their version of that guy. So, Sorry, I've got an incoming call, and I was like, did I drop? What's happening here? So Colin Simmons is really important. This visit is really important. And I think, if he's the guy to talk about. Zay mentions Kobe Black, a borderline 5-star-ish cornerback, another really important player in this weekend group that's coming in. I think most people think he's going to end up at Texas. He's teammates of Jelani McDonald, the kid who signed with the Longhorns towards the end of last year's recruiting class. That helps. But the Longhorns, he's taken official visits to Oklahoma and Ohio State, but it doesn't feel like those visits, at least on the surface, have impacted the betting odds on whether or not he ends up at Texas. I don't know when he commits, but Texas is in really good position with where it is. And I think, what's fascinating is so many of the best prospects this weekend are DBs. I mean, there's a lot of big-time DBs. There's Kobe Black, Wardell Mack, Selman Bridges, Jordan Johnson, Rebel, Corian Gibson, Terry Busey, or Bussey. You'd like to get all those guys. I mean, honestly, you wouldn't turn any of those guys down. It's not quite action-packed everywhere else, but it's one of the best recruiting weekends. And some people might even dive into the hyperbole a little bit and say it's the best ever. I don't know that I would go that far. It's really, 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 really good. And if Texas can have the success this weekend that it had a weekend ago, they'll be tickle pink.
Strange last question from me, Ketch, in terms of recruiting, but I started wondering this, and you're the perfect person to answer. You and I were doing a show in like 06, 08 era, right around the time Twitter started, and now there's more social media obviously out there, and Instagram and TikTok and all that. When did we go to the recruit gets dressed up in the stuff, takes the picture, and sends the picture out? When did that start? How long's that been going on? Like everywhere?
Probably like 5-6 years ago.
Okay. That's about what I would have guessed.
As Insta has, I think, replaced Twitter, and look, TikTok has replaced Insta in a lot of ways. As we kind of went from Twitter's not as cool, so maybe like 2016-ish.
Okay.
You started to see guys that it shows up everywhere. It used to be kind of an Instagram thing more than anything else, but now it's all the socials. And God, I don't want to say we're creeping up on a decade of it, but it's pretty close.
Yeah, maybe. Okay.
Now, I will say this. Think back to like 2015, Kyler Murray takes his official visit to Texas. Remember, that gets out because he tweeted a picture of him on campus.
Right.
That had that not happened, the whole thing would have unfolded quite differently. Now, that wasn't him doing the poses in the uniform and all of that stuff, but that was, I would say 2012, 2013 is when social media started to come into play, and then probably 2016-ish is when suddenly it was about who can create the coolest photo opportunities. And it actually matters a lot on these visits. I mean, you'd be surprised how many recruits will come back and say, oh, my God, you should have seen the crappy setup that they had. Like, that wasn't cool. Texas has been guilty of it in the past. Not all of the guys were always fans of the black curtain with, like, the bull in front of it. Like, they want as cool as humanly possible. That's a very subjective thing, but it's turned into actually you have to knock that part out of the park because every kid wants to engage in it. Yeah. And that didn't used to be that way, obviously.
Right. That's wild.
Catch, last one for me. You mentioned Micah Hudson and him not taking his visit to Texas this weekend and how that might be a blessing in disguise with all the talent that they have. But still, some people are wondering, the Lake Belton 5-star wide receiver, him not being on campus is still a little weird. Can you give us any more detail on why he won't be at the 40 this weekend?
I'm not going to call the kid a liar. I mean, I'm not even remotely close, right? But his reasoning is that he's at the state 7-on-7 tournament today and doesn't want his visit to Texas to be a distraction. So that's why he's not taking the official visit. And yet his teammate, Selman Bridges, same high school, same 7-on-7 tournament this weekend, will be on campus for his official visit. I don't know that that's the real reason. Look, when he visited Texas last Friday, I didn't bring this up a lot on Friday, in part because you were the only guys that I was on vacation last Friday and still did the radio spot because I love you guys.
Oh, that's love. Don't make me cry.
That's love.
Do not
Catch.
make me cry, Catch, please.
Chad's the only guy that, like, I won't just ghost in that situation.
I feel honored now.
You should. And but when it happened, I had a negative thought, and I didn't. People were excited. The 5-star guy, he's coming in next weekend, and he's coming in this weekend, and that must mean that Texas is in great shape, because why would he come in on a Friday right before his official visit? Turns out he's just on his way to the airport to Lubbock, and he stopped by for Texas, and my spidey senses told me, oh, crap, that guy's not making it to his official visit next weekend, and this abbreviated unofficial visit will serve as the official last visit he makes before he commits to Texas Tech. This kid's going to commit to Texas Tech. I think it happens in the next week. I think once that happens, a lot of what's happened in the last 10 days will make a lot of sense to a lot of people. The good news is he's not in a mental place to visit Texas right now. He's leaning very heavily to Tech. I would call him a silent commitment if you believe such things can occur. Like I said, I believe he will commit in the next week. So if you're Texas, what you'd rather do is have that official visit in your hip pocket for in a few months, if you can knock down some of the walls of why he's chosen Texas Tech, and you can get him like Anthony Hill a year ago, Kelvin Banks 2 years ago, or Colton Vasek a year ago. Texas has experience with these really important prospects who commit to a school in the summer, and then they've been able to flip them later in the year. If that's your best case with Micah Hudson, and it is right now, the best case scenario for Texas is you flip him from this pending Tech commitment later in the year, having that official visit for when that moment is possibly needed is much better than getting him to come down this weekend with kind of a negative vibe, maybe not completely listening to all of your sales pitches. So I don't need to try to do the moral victory thing very often. In this case, it's probably best for Texas that it didn't happen now, although there's no guarantee that he's going to become lukewarm or that his commitment to Tech will lessen any in the next 6 months or so. But Texas's, I think, position on this is we've been to this rodeo before several times. We know how to handle the ride, and we'll be okay. And I think that that's the way they're looking at it. So I don't think the Micah Hudson commitment is done by any stretch of the imagination, although this time next Friday when we do this spot, it may be in the wake of him committing to Texas Tech. In advance, it would be the single biggest recruiting victory in the history of the Texas Tech football program. So when it happens, in advance, kudos to Joey McGuire and that entire staff. it should not be taken lightly that either the number one or number two prospect in the state could end up at Texas Tech. Something like that hasn't remotely happened since 1997 when they signed Dominic Rhodes, who ended up being a pretty hellacious NFL running back, even if he didn't have any kind of college career of note. And they got John Norman, a kid out of West Texas, back in the day when kids were coming out of West Texas and were big deals in recruiting. 26 years since and this supersedes that. So it's a really big deal. But Texas won't be done with Micah Hudson. And he told our Jason Sukamel literally 2 hours ago in College Station at the state 7-on-7 tournament that he will visit Texas again at some point. Maybe he's just saying that right now because he hasn't committed yet. I don't know. We're going to have some ups and downs in that recruitment. But what he said earlier today is that he will visit Texas again before signing day.
All right. There you have it. Jeff Ketchum, orangebloods.com, at GKCatch on Twitter if you want to give him a follow. Catch, always appreciate the time, brother. Have a great weekend. Stay cool.
And Zay, one last thing, honeymoon advice. Do it a lot. The older you get, the less it becomes rampant. So no work. Don't set yourself on fire. And get you some. And we'll talk to you on Friday. Or maybe not. I don't know. You'll be on honeymoon. We will talk soon.
Oh, yeah. No, we will talk next week, Catch, but Zay will be hopefully heeding your advice when we're talking next Friday. Thanks, man.
Amen, brothers. Talk to y'all soon.
What a guy.
That's fantastic. Fantastic. I will never forget when he went on. I couldn't believe they scheduled that honeymoon around the NFL draft.
That's tough.
I'm like, Catch, you love the NFL draft more than anybody I've ever met. What are you doing?
Yo, I could never do that.
He just ducked and did it. I was like, okay.
Like, you knew when our wedding was. Like, our wedding was literally the day the Cowboys played San Fran in 2001.
Yeah, that's tough enough.
It was tough enough. So I was showing up next week. Like, I was there. I was like, we ain't taking the honeymoon anytime soon. Let's wait till the summer. We were still a little nervous with COVID and everything going on. So we took another year off, and now we're here. Yeah, no, I definitely respect that. And it's like it's different for everybody. Sometimes the honeymoon needs to be immediate, and it can be, but sometimes there's reasons why you got to wait a little bit. So it's very cool. You guys are getting to do that next week, and you get great advice from Jeff Ketchum. So there you go. All right, coming up, why today matters. I want Zay's thoughts on what the Mavs did last night. Plus, we'll hit you with some birthdays. Got some big sports birthdays, including a Longhorn great with a birthday, a TCU legend with a birthday, and a guy that's connected to two plays that I know you know out of the NFL. He was involved in both, and he's got a birthday today as well. We'll hit all that coming up on The Horn.
Chad and Zay.
All right, first off, did anybody else think that was Vogue by Madonna when it started? Right at the beginning, just a little bit. It's just a little bit. Zay, do I have any shot at this?
0.
All right, I'm going to feel dumb if I don't guess it because it's just the first thing that popped in my head. I don't think it's this, but PM Dawn?
No.
I don't know why that popped in my head.
Who is that?
You don't remember PM Dawn?
I do not.
Wow.
What was his hit?
Wasn't PM Dawn? I think it was a group. I don't think there was one person.
There's
It was like-
EPMD.
I think it was 2 or 3 people in PM Dawn. Weren't they who set adrift on Memory Bliss? Wasn't that PM Dawn?
I might have to look that up.
I think that's I think that's technically hip hop. I don't think I invented that. I mean, it's not like I just went to a different genre of music. I think PM Dawn counts as hip hop. Don't they?
Oh, those brothers.
PM Dawn? All right.
No.
All right, who is it?
This is EPMD.
This is EPMD.
Please listen to my demo.
EPMD. Did it stand for something or not?
Yeah, it stands for something.
But you don't know what
I
it was?
don't know.
Okay.
This was before my time, but I know it was.
I
a
got
hit.
you. EPMD, the Moody Blues, AC/DC, Brian Adams, Stevie Nicks have all been on the show today. The UGK beat was great to start the hour. And for some reason, I thought of PM Dawn when I heard that song. Because PM Dawn had one of the guys in PM Dawn was really large.
Yeah.
And one of the guys there sounded large and sounded Biggie-esque, but clearly not Biggie.
Ah.
You know what I mean? That little bit of just, I don't know. Sometimes you can hear the size,
Right.
if you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
You can hear how big
Heavy
somebody.
breathing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can hear somebody has like, for instance, in UGK, Bun B. Big guy?
Yeah. Bigger guy.
Because every time I hear him, I think it just sounds like a big dude. Just sounds like it's got that big volume to it.
Okay.
All right, so Friday before Zay goes on his honeymoon, people have been giving him Cancun advice today. Jeff Ketchum just gave him a little advice, and we certainly hope that Zay and his lovely wife have a great honeymoon. That is the first reason why today matters, because he's about to go on his honeymoon. Let's hit that. I also want to hear what he thinks of the Mavs deal last night. Let's go. Yes, first off, Zay, first and foremost, I hope you guys have a great trip on the honeymoon. I'm all for vacations and people unplugging and getting away, but especially the people that bust their ass, and you do it every day. So you guys have a great time. Thank you for what you've done for the show. Thank you for keeping the show alive and me alive, and thank you. It's been a weird circumstance this last year or so, and how things got started or whatever. But I've thoroughly enjoyed doing the show with you. So I hope you get all that, energy replenishment and all that kind of stuff. But I hope you guys have a great trip.
Thank you, my friend. Yeah, it's going to be a great time. I love my wife very much. I can't wait to spend quality time with her. And it's going to be nice to just unwind and come back ready for the football season.
Yeah.
Better than ever. And yeah, it's been a blast. I know you said, September 26th is our 1 year?
That's the birthday.
Okay.
I figured September 26th.
Yeah, that day's coming up faster than we think. So it's been great so far, and let's keep it rolling.
I just thought you are, in a way, taking the perfect honeymoon time-wise, because y'all have now gotten married. You lived together before or not?
Oh, yeah. We've lived together for about 7 years.
That's right. So oh my goodness. So you'd already knew you got along. Then you get married. Then now you know you can be married, and now you're going on your honeymoon. Because some people do the fresh thing on all of it. They go wedding night, get married. They've never lived together. Maybe they've even never had sex together, but let's just say they've never lived together. So they go from 0 to having to spend every waking hour together, and they get on their honeymoon and might realize, oh my God.
Oh, no.
I've made a total mistake.
Yeah, you got to test drive the car before you buy it.
Right? I decided to marry a guy that brushes his teeth like that. Or I decided to marry a woman that screams those kind of things in the middle of the night, and I'm not even touching her. Like, you don't know all that stuff. You guys know everything.
Yeah.
That's fantastic. Yeah. Y'all have a great time in Cancun. Everybody that's going on vacation next week, have a great time. And if you did take next week off so you could link it up to the 4th of July, bravo. Bravo. That's what Zay and some of our guys get to do.
I didn't even know. I wasn't looking at it like that. I was looking at, okay, babe, we got to do it after the finals. If we could do it after the NBA draft, that'd be perfect. And it just lined up that way.
You timed it right.
You know, I've hit you up about this way before the bosses even gave us Monday and Tuesday off, the 3rd and the 4th of July.
I will say, of the 4 people that are off next week, the only one I can even kind of argue might have got in first is Craig, because he plans that stuff out.
That's true.
Way in advance.
Yeah.
But you're number 2, I think.
Okay, and I appreciate that.
You're the second one I heard of.
I'm not surprised Bucky Gabo didn't tell you on his way out of B&E today. Oh, yeah, by the way, Chad, I will not be in next week.
That's right. That's how it works. All right, so in terms of this June 23rd, we'll hit a couple birthdays. But, Zay, I want you to tell me about the Mavs and what they were able to do last night. That slight moving of picks, but Derek Lively, the second from Duke, and then they get the cat out of Marquette. Feels like the Mavericks are trying to get a little size here in this draft. Do either one of these picks do anything for you?
Yeah, I think they're both solid. You know, the Mavs went with what they needed, and they need a big man that could complement Luka. And if they sign Kyrie Irving back, him too. Because remember, both of those guys are not good defenders. So when they get blown by, you need somebody there to block a few shots.
Yeah, I can attest to everything you just said.
They don't have that. They haven't had that at all. And Derek Lively, he's the next best shot blocker after Victor Wembanyama. So I get it, Mavs fans. His Duke stats, they aren't the best, but he was the number 1 player coming out of high school when he went to Duke, and then he got injured, and that slowed down his process. But he came along really strong in the postseason and in the couple of games that they had in the tournament. Derek Lively was terrific. And when you play with a guy like Luka, he doesn't have to be, you know, a Hakeem or Kareem or even Nikola Jokic type scorer. He doesn't have to be the back to the basket. We're gonna give you the ball and you're gonna run our offense. No, you got Luka for that. So he's gonna be the guy that complements Luka and maybe a Kyrie on pick and rolls. And what the Mavericks also did very well, they traded back and still got the guy they wanted. So they were originally at 10. They saved money by giving that pick to the Thunder, where they ended up taking Cason Wallace out of Kentucky, and they got the guy they wanted in Derek Lively at 12. So beautiful job, because they're going to need that extra money if they want to re-sign Kyrie Irving. And I also like my man out of Marquette, Ovile, Maxine Prosper. I don't know his name for sure, but he was solid. Yeah. He was solid for Coach Shaka Smart this past season at Marquette. 6'8". He could shoot it a little bit, really athletic, and he's a solid shot blocker, especially for his size. So both of these guys, I think they're big picks. They're not wow guys. I'm not expecting any of these guys to be in Springfield, Massachusetts, and when their career is over in the Hall of Fame. But for what you have on the roster currently, it's solid picks.
So I have a question for you as an NBA fan. It may not bug you like it bugs me. How is it that we're in 2023 and they can't get their big draft issue right? Why can't they get the pick right at that moment? Why do we have the commissioner walk out and go, okay, I have a trade to announce, and he announces the trade from 4 picks ago. Then he says, all right, now the Mavericks pick, but everybody knows that it's going to another team.
I can't stand that either.
And we put another hat on.
It's so stupid.
Zay, you know when the first time I bitched about that was? Chris Mim.
Really?
That's how long it's been going on. Chris Mim wore a Bulls hat that night. And he got taken by the Bulls. Well, there's a story he's going to get traded to the Cleveland Cavaliers. He ended up in Cleveland.
Right.
No pictures of him in a Cleveland hat because he was wearing the Bulls. It's so bizarre. The NFL nails it every time. They rarely screw that thing up. We have a trade, blah, 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 and they trade it to the Lions. And with that pick, the Lions pick, blah, and the guy wears a Lions hat.
Right.
And it makes total sense. Last night, I was so confused. And then they doubled down on their stupidity, because when you go look it up the next day, both ESPN.com and NBA.com still had the Mavs taking that initial guy at 10.
Right.
and still had
Yeah.
Oklahoma City taking Lively at 12.
Yeah, I don't get it either. It's stupid.
It's so confusing.
Yeah, I can't stand it, but whatever. The NBA, they hate change. You know, all these professional sports, they hate change. Anything that's different, it takes arm and a leg to just get them to switch it to make it make sense. But I'm with you. It doesn't make sense, and they need to get that right.
So bizarre. All right, before we get out of here on Why Today Matters, some birthdays for you. Longhorn fans, your man LaSalle Thompson hits the 6'2" today. One of the biggest big men the Longhorns have ever had. I think when he was done, it was rebounding he led in all time. I think it was James Thomas took it from him, but he had it when he left Texas. So happy birthday to LaSalle today, one of the best big men Texas has ever had. Also, if you're a Cowboys fan like me from back in the day, you know the name Tony Hill. Tony turned 67 today. I never knew this old school. Stanford for Tony Hill.
Huh.
My first number, 80. Drew was my 88. Tony Hill was my first 80.
Okay.
Those guys were badass, man, and some great froze in the late 70s, early 80s.
Yeah.
Oh, those guys just wore incredible froze. Also in the NFL, Kevin Dyson turns 48 today. Kevin went to Utah, a wide receiver, in one playoff run. He was the guy that caught the Music City Miracle from Frank Wycheck, and he's the guy that got tackled at the 1-yard line.
Wow.
That Mike Jones brought down. So he was on the one side, the positive side and the negative side of two of the most famous moments in NFL history. Happy birthday to Kevin. Also, Zay, it's a happy birthday to the other LT. LaDainian Tomlinson is 44. I was looking up some of his stats. Just absolutely stupid, man. He's already in both Halls of Fame, I guess is how to say that, college and the pros. And at one point, I think it was early on somewhere in the TCU run, he had 406 in a game.
Woo, man.
406. At the time, it was a record. I think somebody's gotten it since then. He went 406.
He was special, man. The San Diego days with Breeze and Phillip Rivers. He was absolutely special. The number one pick in fantasy football, seemed like every year. Like he was at San Diego and could just take a screen to the house, was great in between tackles, had the burst, had the shake. He had everything that you want in a running back. And yeah, man, he's one of my favorite of all time. I don't know what happened. I've never heard the story of why he wasn't even looked at for the University of Texas. Maybe he was just
That's a good question. Yeah.
underrated coming out of the Waco area, but woo, he was special.
Yeah, that's one of those things I always wondered, because I was on one side of it as an Aggie fan, like Longhorn and Aggie fans watching that dude thinking, wait, he went to high school where?
Yeah.
In Waco? And Baylor fans too, but back then, specifically, Longhorn and Aggie fans had to be losing their minds. And by the way, when you're a certain age and you see a guy in a single digit as a running back, some people think of Reggie Bush. I immediately think of LT.
Right.
He was the first guy I remember going single digit and making it look like that. And like you said, freaky out of the backfield, catching passes. He could run. He could do it all. He, to me, was the first Reggie Bush-like guy. And then Reggie might have taken it to another level, but he was the first one for me.
Well, Reggie and him were pretty tight because remember, Reggie Bush is from San Diego.
Yeah.
So when
that
Reggie,
may be why he wore the number, too.
It might have been
Maybe.
because when Reggie was coming out of high school, there's a clip where both of those guys, LT is giving Reggie Bush tips. Like, I like to do this, I like to do that because of, again, Reggie Bush being from the San Diego area. So those guys, they've always had a relationship. And, yeah, that might be the reason why he rocked 5 at Southern Cal.
Yeah, that was it. Maybe the original 5 there to get that whole thing started. Happy birthday to all those folks today. We hope you are having a good June 23rd. Stay cool out there. More hot temperatures coming. Up next, Stems and Seeds before we get out of here. And then we get you off the ball, don't lie, with Rod and Harge. Don't move. It's the Horn.
Chad and Zay.
All right, just about to wrap it up on a Friday. Zay's about to head off to his honeymoon. We got 4 guys on vacation next week. Hope Bucky and Craig both have some good time off. Zay's going to head off to a honeymoon. Mike Harge is being baseball dad next week.
Oh, for real?
Yeah, he's going to go watch the kid in a tournament, I believe.
Nice.
So he's going to be a little more tense than you will next week. You're going to be chilling on the beach, enjoying life. He's going to be trying not to get thrown out by the umpire.
Oh, I've seen Harge in the stands supporting his son before. He could get active.
He gets on it.
Yeah, he could get real active.
All right.
Absolutely.
I do not recognize this song, Zay. What do we got?
This is DMX featuring the Locks and Mace. Brothers done started something, but instead of brothers, it's the N-bomb.
Ah, gotcha. DMX, EPMD, the Moody Blues, AC/DC, Bryan Adams, Stevie Nicks. That's quite a music festival right there. And the UGK beat to start the hour. We hope you're doing well today. Stay cool out there. Before we get out of here, a couple things for you with Stems and Seeds, including updated 7-on-7 scores. And there's some good news for area teams. Here we go.
No stress, no seeds, no stems, no sticks.
Brought to you by AV Consultations, 255-8678, or go to avconsultations.com. Thanks to Dave Campbell's Texas Football for keeping this thing updated for us. How about this? Weiss wins their first game. Now, remember, this isn't it. You got 3 games in the round robin. You got to be first or second in the pool to get out. But Weiss won their first game. Round Rock won their first game, 26-13. Elsewhere for area teams, let's see. Vista Ridge did lose. Hightower beat Vista Ridge, so Vista Ridge going to need a win in that second game for sure. Other teams from our area, Westwood won barely, 2019, but gets the win. Westlake won their first game. And what's the other one? Lake Travis won big, 48-7, got through their first game, and I think Drip won as well. Yes, Drip won 32-6. Also, the team I missed earlier, and I apologize, is Buda Johnson, but I do not see a score on their first game. They played Cy Creek in their first game, so Buda Johnson there as well. Also, quick update on baseball. All-Star game coming up in July. Julio Rodriguez is going to be in the Home Run Derby. He finished second to Juan Soto last year. He has said he will go. They're doing it in Seattle, so Home Run Derby, his own ballpark. He was a big part of last year's, why it was so cool. So he is going to be in this year's version. I believe it's the 11th. That Tuesday the 11th is the MLB All-Star game.
Yo, he's one of the best young players in the league. He's solid.
Oh, he's so much fun to watch. Yeah, he is incredible. All right, Zay, so last night we talked about some of these different guys that got drafted. It all started with Victor Wembanyama. We talked a little bit about, obviously, the Thompson brothers, but we didn't get into the 2 and 3 pick. We talked a little Brandon Miller, I guess, with Charlotte. Scoot Henderson to Portland. What do you think now happens with Portland, Damian Lillard? What does the plan feel like to you?
Yeah, they said Damian Lillard in a couple of weeks, he's going to kind of feel things out on what he wants to do with his career, whether he's going to ask for a trade or he wants to stay in Portland and see what happens with Scoot Henderson. I mean, the Trailblazers, they had no choice. With the Hornets taking Brandon Miller, Scoot Henderson was the next best player. It's just there's so many guards in Portland right now, from Anthony Simons to Shaedon Sharpe, who they drafted last year around 6 or 7, who has tremendous upside coming out of Canada. You know that Damian Lillard doesn't have many years left, with him being around 33 and all the miles on him. So, and it's interesting. I definitely keep an eye out on what's going to happen in Portland. I think they should start over and start with Scoot Henderson, Anthony Simons, and Shaedon Sharpe. Trade Damian Lillard, get a whole bunch for him, and see what happens. But Damian Lillard, he is the Portland Trailblazers. That will be very hard to do.
Somebody texted us, I know Rice signed a 2-way deal with the Spurs. Any word on Carr, Allen, and everyone else? Yes. Sir'Jabari Rice, San Antonio, you mentioned it. Marcus Carr, Phoenix, going to get a shot with them.
I don't think he's got a 2-way deal, though.
Not a 2-way, no, but a shot with the Summer League team, maybe, we'll see. And then Timmy Allen, Memphis, just Summer League.
Same, yes.
Yeah, the 2-way is only Rice, so keep that in mind. Rod and Harge coming up. Mike Harge towards you'll be leaning today, headed towards vacation. Zay, have a great time on your honeymoon.
Thanks, Chad. See y'all the 5th of
Oh,
July.
my God, the 5th of July. That's crazy. He's going to stay safe till then. Y'all stay safe until, Monday. See ya.